What's the first thing women notice? Your face. That's why you got to take care of. Simple things like getting a haircut, grooming your face, and brushing your teeth is important. But there's one thing guys miss and that women always notice. It's when a guy isn't taking care of his skin. That's why I'm so excited to have T. Shanley as a sponsor of today's video. T. Shanley simplifies the process of taking care of your skin. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing you don't. Seriously, I don't think some of you believe me when I tell you how much implementing a quality skincare routine will improve your confidence in all aspects of your life. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: daily face wash, exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with an SPF 20 and a PM moisturizer. But and to make it dead simple for you guys, they provide an instruction card in every box that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. But because T just sponsoring this video, they're offering you an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description and get 40% off your first skincare system and free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll get 20% off for life. By the way, one of their new gift options is a silicone body scrubber, which is a $20 value and a complete game changer. Once you use this, you'll never go back to a regular loofah ever again. So don't wait any longer. Click the first link in the description.
Hey, turn on this damn ring light, man. That it was bright as hell.
Oh yeah, you gotta be careful, brother. Gotta be careful.
You must got that Temu ring light.
Shit, Temu ring lights don't get that bright. Shit, I can light the whole outdoors with this motherfucker.
All right, what's good to see you guys, man. Welcome to King Talk. Just go to the housekeeping out the way. Make sure you guys hit that Teej link. The link is in the description. They have early Black Friday deals and half off on skincare routines. Click that link that's in the description. Also, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. What's going on? Erica, Dale Matthews, Angela Swift. I see Chew the Fat was Smooth, which is Trev is in the chat as well. Dale Matthews says, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Greatest network on the planet. I agree and thank you, sir. What's going on in San Juan? Good to see you, brothers. We had an interesting show ahead for you guys. The topic is, what does courtesy and respect look like between men? We're going to open it up with that, man. What is, and if you can sum it up in one sentence, what does courtesy and respect look like between men? I'm going to start with you, Viz. I see you over there with that cloud over your head.
Damn. Kick it off with me, huh? Courtesy and respect in one word. Shit, I would have to say honorable.
All right. What about you, Kenny? What does courtesy and respect look like between men for you?
Courtesy and respect. Respect is earned, not given. Courtesy is a common practice. If you're raised well, that you exhibit through your actions. What does courtesy and respect look like between men? If you respect somebody, you show them the courtesy of being able to listen, being able to discern, bring more positives than negatives to the table. Try to work progressively together. I keep it short and sweet.
All right. What about you, Sweeney?
Come back to me on that one.
Copy that, Trev.
So, respect is something that you should offer to everyone, right? Respecting another man is just appreciating boundaries for one. We us as men, we should understand each other's boundaries, right? And you have to respect it. Respect for a man's lifestyle, right? Respect comes in a lot of forms. So let's just say I know that maybe you don't operate the same way that I do. I respect it. Like I might be one of these guys that run out here in the street or whatever, but I respect the fact that that's not your flow, and I would never try to persuade you to do that just because it's something that I do. Courtesy is it's just offering that I guess you could say patience would fall under that. Yeah, and just understanding how to treat people. So it's kind of in line with respect, but it's just and I think if you have the ability to understand perspective, it would help you with both of those attributes. Just trying to understand where a person is coming from and how they would want to be treated. So if you understand perspective, then it'll be a lot easier for you to offer courtesy and definitely respect somebody.
Damn, why I gotta get the one word question and shit.
Well, this is the soft opening right now. Go ahead, Darwin. What does courtesy and respect look like between
I'll let Viz add because he kind of felt like dude on that.
I'm just fucking around. Go ahead, Darwin.
Well, I would say respect is, I wouldn't say you earn it. I would say, I think everybody gives everybody a baseline of respect, and I think it's more of you keep the respect. Respect is something you can lose. I think everybody is granted some type of grace or some type of baseline of respect, and it's up to you on how you behave and how you conduct yourself and what you stand on will get that retention the next time you cross paths with the same person, or if you're going to be affiliated with a specific person. What it look like between men? I would say respecting what they stand for, respecting them as a person, even respecting their perspective, even though y'all might disagree. You know, we got to understand we all come from different walks of life, so we're going to have different ideologies and different backgrounds, and just having the respect for it and understanding takes us a long way, you know, when we're trying to understand each other. Courtesy is just being polite, you know what I'm saying? You know, having consideration for other people, you know, just not being an asshole, you know, knowing that you're not the only one that exists. You know, there's other people around you that have feelings too. So even if you don't want to do something or you feel like you want to do something out the way, just having courtesy for the next man and be like, okay, just weighing the pros and cons of how it's going to affect other people. I think it's a good case for courtesy. So like if I do something, and I know that Sweeney can be affected by that, or it's going to cause some issues, it's up to me to give him a foreknowledge or a head up notice. Like, look, I'm about to go and do this shit, bro. And you know what I'm saying, I don't like it at work. I'm going to file a complaint. And the boss probably going to send our ass home. And I know you're trying to get that extra 60 hours this week. I'm letting you know ahead of time what you're about to be dealing with. I think that's a courtesy move. Like, I'm letting you know, and this is how I'm going to move so you can prepare yourself. That's courtesy to me. Now you.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Shannon.
Mic check. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Who?
What does courtesy and respect look like between men? Sweeney, do you know the difference between the words sympathy and empathy?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
If I can put it simply, empathy is putting yourself in their shoes and seeing it through. Now, I'm just spitballing here. I don't know the direct definition, but it's kind of like putting yourself in those shoes, where sympathy is more like you can feel for them, but you don't necessarily put yourself in their shoes to feel exactly how they will feel.
No, that's good. That's you said it right. So sympathy is when, you know, I feel sorry for somebody. I understand. I can imagine what you're going through. I haven't gone through it myself. I can't really, if sympathy is what men feel for women when we know, like, maybe a woman is pregnant and she's, maybe morning sickness, or she's throwing up and you feel sad for her. You want her to feel better, but you can't really explain it. You don't know what cramps feel like. So we have sympathy for women. But empathy is something that you understand. See, probably all of us has been kicked in the balls before. That if you see a brother get his balls kicked, you have empathy for him because you'd be like, God damn, I know what that feels like. You see, understanding what one goes through is where, as far as I'm concerned, between men, where courtesy and respect lies. It's because I know the shit that Kenny deals with on a daily basis as a man. I may not know it exactly in New York, but I know it. We have a baseline understanding. I know what Darwin deals with as a man. I get Viz and Marcus. I understand you brothers as men, what you guys deal with when it comes to jobs, when it comes to family, when it comes to taking care of people, when it comes to women and relationships. We have empathy amongst each other, and as a result, that's where the courtesy and respect lies. That's the baseline that I have. And so the way it looks to me between men is because we have empathy and you guys understand the kind of shit that I go through, or I understand the kind of shit that you guys go through. I have a baseline courtesy and respect for all men. Now, of course, you can lose that because you may be a fuckboy, or you may be an asshole, or you may be a bitch ass nigga, or you may be somebody that I can't stand. But that's where you kind of decline. It's like you guys saying there's a base. You guys always had that teacher that said everybody starts class with an A. Day one, everybody has an A, and it's up to you to keep it. And if you don't do your homework, you don't take the test right, you do that, then that's when your A starts to drop. It's the same thing with men. We all have a baseline courtesy and respect of each other once we first meet. And then after we open our mouths, it's like, he's talking crazy. Oh, he's super emotional. Oh, he treats women like that. Or that's what he thinks. Oh, then that's where it starts to drop. Or somebody says something amazing, makes you think. You say, damn, I didn't think of it like that. That's where the respect starts to increase. And that's why I say respect is always commanded. So courtesy and respect between men, for me, it looks like how I feel about myself, because I believe that all you brothers at some degree can understand the shit that I go through as a man, as a black man out here in Los Angeles, even though you guys aren't me and you aren't in Los Angeles, and vice versa.
All right, go ahead, Sweeney.
All right. That's gonna be a tough thing to follow up behind, but I find this question kind of difficult to answer, because all the things that we mentioned, it's crazy that we can actually be all of those things to one another and still have some level of courtesy and respect. We've all been assholes to our boy, but it was still like, we know how to keep it funny. You know what I mean? So I know it's weird because it's hard to describe, but you know what it looks like when it's not there. It's hard to describe what it is, but you know what it looks like when it's not there. You know what it looks like when there is no courtesy and no respect between men. And I guess how I look at it is just to use the panel as an example, because me and Bruiser talked about this. I think it was either yesterday or today, and I was telling them about how I view the man on this panel. And I was like, I try my best not to be disrespectful. Like, we keep it funny. We can crack jokes on each other, all of that. But I try my best to keep it funny because one day I actually do plan on being in a room with all of y'all. One day, like, we can't be disrespectful in this space. Why? Because one day we're all going to be in a room together. And it's not the fear of, oh, well, I fear getting into it with one of y'all or us, shooting a fade. It's not being able to chill with y'all that scares me. Not being able to be in a room with y'all and have a drink. Not being able to be in a room with y'all and exchange thoughts and smoke a cigar and watch the game. Because that's what I look forward to. One day we're all going to be in a room together, and we should be able to kick it with one another and be brothers. So when I think of respect and courtesy, that's what I'm aiming for every time I encounter men in my life. Is I want to be able to share camaraderie with every man that I encounter in my life, and I already know that when shit hits the fan, you know that that's impossible. Like I said, it's hard to describe what it is because we can be any and all of those things and still be respectful to one another. But we definitely know when disrespect is there and when the lack of courtesy is there.
Well, Sweeney, what about the times where you don't realize that you was disrespectful and someone says, I didn't like what you said, or I'm offended by what you said? How do you respond to that?
It takes a reflection. And sometimes it may not, sometimes our egos get in the way, right? And in the heat of the moment, you want to dig your heels in and double down. But there ain't been a time where, honestly, I felt like, where I was truly wrong, and I haven't been able to come back and be like, you know what, yeah, I messed up on that one. Well, no, I'll be lying if I said that. There has been some times where I doubled down, even later on, but I'm one stubborn bastard. But I would say what it truly looks like is being able to reflect and be able to come back and say, you know what, my bad, bro. You know what I mean? Because like there's a difference between I think we talked about it a while ago, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, it's just being able to apologize and acknowledge what you did wrong. And sometimes it requires a whole group of people to tell you wrong. Sometimes you got to read the room. Sometimes when 6 motherfuckers tell you, hey, bro, you're fucking up, man. You gotta hear the room sometimes.
I think the love too, or love and forgiveness is evident a lot of times between men, because I can say I got enough love for the guys on this panel right now where sometimes they might cross me and lose some respect, but I'll give it right back, and we'll chop it up and act like nothing ever happened. Like Marcus will like tell me, man, shut the fuck up talking to me, dog. And I'll be like, all right, man, my bad. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll be like, hey, look, I apologize. And then I think he loved me enough to be like, all right, man, I got you, man. Just don't do that shit again. I think when we love each other like that, man, we can kind of lose respect and get it back if we're genuine about the fact that we was out of line and we crossed the boundaries with one another. And I think that's what it's all about. It's just making sure we're safe around each other and know how not to cross the line. And when we do cross the line, can we come to a forgiveness and show love to each other again and get back on track. And that's what I like about this group. You know what I'm saying? We can do that. We might not do it immediately or often, but at some given point, we're able to get there at some point.
It's literally the reason why we can throw hands with one another and shake hands afterwards. Like you can be like, man, bro, hey, look, this time we got to squabble. And then two men can squabble and shake hands right afterwards and walk away as friends. I've had that happen to me. I done fought somebody and we became friends the next day. I'm sure all of us have had that experience if you've been in a fight before. It's just, you know what I mean? I don't know, man.
And one of my early experiences with this was when, when I was younger running the streets, and you'll catch somebody, man, what you is, you'll scan them, whatever. Like, man, I'm a man before anything. And the first time I heard it, I'm like, okay, we gave him a pass. And then one time I got caught. Off of, man, I'm a man before anything. And it's that mutual respect. It's that, and we could do it to you. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna let you slide type of deal. So just being able to show that respect of that you're a man. I see that you're a man. Now, if I don't respect you, then it's gonna go the other way. But if you're showing that you're respectful and like, hey, y'all got me. And it's like some people, if they're honorable, they're gonna let you slide.
I got another question. Do you guys think that women are offered that same courtesy, the same opportunity when it comes to if they feel disrespect? Are you guys going to come back and say, hey, my bad? Or do you think it's a double standard when it comes to it?
No, women hold grudges.
What you mean, like be able to go to a woman and say my bad, and then
you saying do women do that amongst themselves?
So for an example, right? I know Darwin brought up. He brought up if you disrespect somebody on the panel. So even on a panel, right, when a woman feels disrespected or she said she didn't like what was said, do you think that they are awarded the same courtesy or the same opportunity as far as kind of level setting it?
I say usually.
I would say yeah, usually, yeah, absolutely. But it depends though. You can't say that I feel disrespected if if I say the sky is blue, you say it's green, and I'm like, we all can see that the sky is blue. You can't say I feel disrespected. Now, I would agree. I would say that as far as like a personal type deal, then yeah. Because even if something is true, that doesn't mean that they don't feel disrespected when you mention it. So if you mention something personal about them and they feel disrespected, that doesn't make it any less disrespectful just because it's true. So you might be like, yeah, I ain't mean for that to get out there like that, or I didn't know that was a soft spot for you or something like that. But I've seen people feel disrespected because you spoke generally about something. You're like, hold on, wait a minute. How you feel disrespected just because we just talking about a group of people, or whatever.
What's going on, Mr. King Talk TV? How you doing, brother?
Good evening, everybody. Salute to you. Salute to the room.
All right. Before we start to comb through these video, I was just asking the panel, and I'll come to you last, and then we'll go ahead and move it. What does courtesy and respect look like between men for you?
I would say for myself, courtesy and respect. Courtesy is the ability to have a civil conversation. Courtesy is the ability to disagree without being questioning somebody else's morals, ethics, sexuality, anything of that sort. It's this world would be pretty boring if everybody did everything the exact same way. So you got to leave some room for people to be individuals.
All right, cool, copy. All right, let's go ahead and get into it, man. I got a video that I'm gonna run through. I am gonna be.
Marcus ain't answered. Marcus ain't answered.
Oh, my bad, Marcus. My bad. Same question to you, Marcus. What does courtesy and respect look like between men for you?
Courtesy shit is just I kind of agree with what Viz was saying about when you catch somebody in the wrong, you get their ass a pass. I've been in that situation before too. When you outside and they what you is, they hit you with that. And that's a standard answer that I'm a man before I'm everything. And the courtesy would be giving you the pass on that. Respect would be after they do that, not getting out your body and saying no foul shit that make them double back and say this man is super disrespectful. And then they get on. They they try and get off on you or whatever it is that may be. And pretty much just treat people how you would want to be treated, or understanding that shit can escalate. It should be like a line, like, bro, this is my line. Don't cross this shit. And then if you don't respect that man, you're gonna keep crossing that line.
Hey, JR, can I touch on that woman piece real quick?
Go ahead.
Just real quick, because I'm often blamed, accused, and women don't like how I talk about women. in any medium. It could be something I'm writing, it could be something I'm saying in person. And I get it. Everybody wants to put on their tone police badge and cap, start writing tickets and shit about how somebody should say something. But so in terms of the disrespectful part, because you had asked, what if it's a woman? What if do you still give that woman the same grace that you give men? If you disrespect men and you come back and you can say, I'm sorry, would you do that if it was a woman that said that she felt disrespectful? And I saw Kenny going like this, because I think Kenny's saying basically that a lot of women misidentify disrespect with how they feel about some shit that they heard. And I'm sure you brothers probably think the same way in a lot of cases. See, I think it's disrespectful if it's delivered in a rude or an offensive manner. If you're trying to be rude and you're trying to offend somebody, then that's disrespectful. It doesn't matter what you say. I think that if you are given unsolicited advice and you're sharing your opinion without being asked, that can be disrespectful. I think the intention behind the words is kind of what matters. Like if you're trying to hurt a motherfucker, then yeah, that's disrespectful. I'm trying to make you feel bad, then that could be disrespectful. But here, listen, I firmly believe in the truth doesn't care about your feelings. So to the ladies that's watching the show and the ladies that's in the chat and the ones that's going to watch this replay, understand that oftentimes men just simply tell the truth and you feel disrespected. But he's not intending to hurt you. He's not delivering it offensively. He's not laughing at you. Ha 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 ha. That's not necessarily the case. And oftentimes, ladies, you asked his opinion. He's not giving you unsolicited advice. But when you hear the truth, suddenly you feel disrespected. I'm getting that mixed up. You feel disrespected. Ladies, you need to start doing some introspection and start paying attention to how you receive information. Because if you want everything to be sugar-coated and given to you nice and pretty on a platter, you want people to rub on you when they tell you the truth. And if they say something that you don't like, all of a sudden it's disrespect. And that's a personality flaw that I think you need to work on. If they're not trying to hurt you intentionally, if they're not giving you advice that you didn't ask, and they are not intentionally trying to be rude to you, but they're simply telling you the truth. Maybe your breath stink. Maybe you are overweight. Maybe you are not as pretty as you think you are. Maybe it could be a lot of different reasons. Just take the advice and work on it like men do. And then you won't have to worry about a man coming back and apologizing later because he told you the truth, not necessarily was disrespectful. Just want to put that out there.
Okay. What's going on, Hank? I was just asking the gentleman before we move on, what does courtesy and respect look like between men for you?
What courtesy and respect looks like to me. Man, that's a tough question. Man,
all right, I'm gonna give you a second, Hank. Let me go to Darwin. So Darwin came off from mute. You want to say something, Darwin?
Yeah, I was gonna double down a little bit on what Shannon said about the women. It is a feelings thing, and per my experience talking with these people, with these women. I'm sorry. it's it is mislabeling. I think me and Sweeney had a conversation about women's inability to properly associate terms with the meanings. Wow. And they will say that we are disrespecting them when it's more like we're just not being kind or some shit or sweet. Or I think in the case me and Sweeney was talking about was abuse. It's just abuse is being abused. Like the term is being abused because it's being misrepresented. And I think he used a scenario about money. A woman said her husband financially abused her. Like that's some new shit that because at first I thought that he took out a stack of cash, $2,000 in the red band. He slapped her in the face with her some shit. But then that would still be physical abuse. It wouldn't be financial abuse. It would still be, I guess you can argue it'd be financial abuse. But the way but I'm just saying though, like the misinterpretation and mislabeling of terms is out of hand right now. And if we don't get on top of this shit, somebody's gonna tell us that we giving them hunger abuse or some shit like that. For example, if I fucking my wife send me out to go get some chicken nuggets and some French fries, and I forget the French fries, I've abused her. Food abuse. You get what I'm saying? I believe it will go that far. Y'all laughing, bro. I'm serious as fuck.
According to you, Bruce, food abuse would be beating somebody over the head with a bag of Ore-Ida fries.
Okay.
So I want to say this though. This is kind of where that courtesy part comes in, right? So most of us understand that a good portion of females are going to react that way, right? So if we decide that we are going to allow females into the arena, then we have to understand, this is where that perspective part that I was talking about comes in, where it's like, okay, there's lines we could like dance on, but it's easy to cross it because most of us understand. I know one of us have a decent amount of experience with women, so we know many things that we say they're going to take offense to almost no matter what, right? And it's if you care. Maybe you don't care. If you don't care, fuck it. Just call them all types of bitches and whatever you want to do is fine. But if you do care, then you got to dial it back a little bit because we understand that females are just like that, right? In general, it's not like some of them are worse than others, but females in general, sometimes we have to talk to them differently. And in our personal lives, that's how we operate, right? And there's definitely two different ways to look at that. You say, well, if you want to be in alliance, then it is what it is. But then there's also, us understanding how easy it is to run off a female, right? And how flaky females are in general and how difficult it is to obtain females to even get in spaces. So if we care about that and we care about their perspective and we want to be able to understand their perspective, then we have to have a certain amount of accountability as to how we treat them when they're around, if you care.
Now, Trev, I'm surprised to hear that from you. I used to say, we all need to follow the Trev doctrine. I mean, you remember how you said it? I've been saying that.
No, I dig. Now, I don't want you to get twisted because I've offended
to the Trev doctrine. It does. I mean, that just sounds, because listen, we have to establish a baseline. All humans should, if you share the same culture, we have an American culture, so we share the same American culture here on the West. We have to establish a baseline. And as far as I'm concerned, the truth is the baseline. And what you're saying is we should dial it back because of how they feel, but we should never dial back the truth. And I always felt that the Trev doctrine was all about the truth, whether you like it or not. So explain how you round that circle.
I'd love to. We never dial back the message because like I said, I have offended quite a few women on the panel, right? And unapologetically, but it wasn't because I was trying to. And that's what we were talking about, intent, right? So there's things that we can do to kind of mitigate it. We can't, I'm going to give my message, right? I'm going to give the truth, and I will never hide the truth. I will never, put the facts away, because it is what it is. Facts over feelings. However, we could all agree that sometimes people do step over the line and go wild, right? So I would say the delivery. It's the delivery. You know what I'm saying? Not the message. You always keep the message, and I'm always talking about spitting the truth, and I'm gonna say what's on my mind, right?
So you're talking about the delivery should be dialed back.
Yeah, we gotta dial back the delivery sometimes.
I agree.
Right? If we want to keep the females around, because I've seen some things that we some of us shouldn't be proud of, and as the way we've treated women, right? Not you per se, because you don't get down like that, but I've seen it happen, right? Where females have been called things, and it's kind of wild when we do that. We just have to. But listen, never ever ever hide the truth. I ain't never gonna say no shit like that ever. But just the way we handle them. And I ain't saying you gotta be like baby them, right? Because they decide to come on the panel, and it is what it is. But if we want them
just
to be
read
around,
the room. We need to read the room.
And a lot of people miss these social cues and don't really. Maybe they never watch it back, or even after watching back, they still think it's cool. But it's not always. Sometimes we go harder than we have to. I try not to be, disrespectful. That's all. Just keep the respect there. That's all I would say. But like never, ever, ever hide the truth, ever.
What if I told you that I've been in these situations, in these conversations, and I have dialed back my delivery? Actually intentionally did it to see if I can get a different response, or could I actually land my point and it resonate better? And it didn't work, no matter what I did.
So brother, all right, so let's give the example. Like, if when you said where fruits did you bear, what kind of reaction did you expect at that point?
Oh my God!
Hold on, what? Say that again.
When you said what fruits
With
did
that.
you bear?
Wait, did Bruce?
Yeah.
Just you play that,
What
Bruce?
type of a reaction did you expect?
No, that's not me, bro. I did not play that. That's King Talk TV.
I did what?
You always gotta blame the darkest person on the
Okay, well, that's cool. Yeah, I'm used to that. Never mind.
No, for real, Darwin. What type of a reaction did you expect when you said where fruits did you bear?
Put on some
With
lights.
reaction or response? You talking about a response?
What kind of a feeling do you think that she would have, or what type of response were you expecting after dropping that bomb?
Honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I know
bullshit.
I didn't know.
You said bullshit, right?
Yes.
You said bullshit, right?
I said bullshit. Yeah.
All right, just making sure, because that's what it sounded like.
Hey, but in terms of
you have a right to call it bullshit, but I will tell you this. I could tell you what I wanted the response to be. What I wanted the response
Hey, Darwin, if the female responded,
let him get it. Let him get it. Kenny, I definitely want to hear you, but I want to see where he was about to say about this shit.
The hair stood up on the back of his neck for me. All right, so what I wanted her to respond and say is, well, based off of my experience and the choices I made, the fruit that I bear don't represent good choices. Because I think the lady said that she always made good choices. So I guess I was asking for too much if I'm asking for that level of accountability. But that's what I wanted. That's the response I wanted.
No, I dig it. But the only reason I say that is because somebody mentioned earlier, I forgot, I'm sorry, about reading the room and just understanding personalities. Because she had been on here a few times already. And we knew that she had she's spoken about a lot of great detail about her personal life and stuff. So we were like, all right, we know.
Do the women have to read the room as well?
They should. And if they don't, then I will call them on it too. And we all should call them on it, because that's expected as well. That's expected as well. And they have to be held accountable. When they come out of pocket, then yeah, we absolutely should check them. It's equal opportunity around here.
Hey, well, I'm not saying you should check. I'm saying, do they got to read the room? Like, for example, don't say that, because if Darwin hear you say that, or Sweeney
Yeah,
he
but
said,
why
they
are you
gonna
giving
say,
a what
"Dumb
about
as
it?
hell."
Why are you we talking about you right now? Why are you worried about what they got to do? That's a
Well,
what about it. You're
I'm
like, well,
not
what
worried
about
about
them?
it.
Ain't
I'm
they
just
supposed to do it too? But
no,
we
I'm
talking
just
about
asking. I'm just asking.
why?
Do
Why are you just
everybody?
asking? Why?
Because
How's that
we're all
relevant to what
involved.
you're supposed to do?
Because we're all involved in the same conversation.
There ain't no
what
women
point?
here. I'm just
Huh?
simply we're asking about. I guess it's something that you did on a show or something that I guess you checked some women or whatever. But then right now, you're saying, well, ain't women supposed to do that as well?
Well, no, it's not that ain't women supposed to do it as well. I'm saying, for example, if I know that I say something that Kenny is gonna get not triggered, but he's gonna come at me for, like he's waiting on me to say something stupid. I have to read the room and make sure that I phrase my words or whatever, so I don't get attacked by Kenny. You get what I'm saying? Because he's like a hawk in the shadow.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So like, even though Kenny might say something wrong, he gotta read the room so he don't hurt my feelings. But I also gotta read the room for niggas that's on the panel that just wait to fucking hurt your feelings. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you need to be bailed out, Tyler. You sounding soft right now. So let me answer the question that JR was asking. So courteous and respect. So I provide some type of courteous by trying to help you down and cut you off because you was about to say some foot in your mouth type shit. So I did you a solid out of respect for you, as a young blood.
And that's the case right there. I did not read the room because I know Hink was gonna come for my ass. I didn't read the room. You get what I'm saying? Now my feelings is hurt. Let me turn my camera off.
I need you right now because you were saying some wild shit. No, but as far as being courteous, I think most men come at each other, especially men on this show. We try to be courteous and hear each other out. But there's a certain level of respect, like I think somebody said I was watching a show as I was leaving my son's game. There's a certain level of respect that some of you guys may have for me as an elder man, or Shannon, or Kenny as a man who's a little bit more up in age, and JR's old ass. He old too, whether he want to believe it or not. Y'all show a different level of respect for us elder men, and here, as y'all younger guys, here's some of our opinions and our stories and the situations that we put in, and y'all show a certain level of respect. And as I think me and Shannon and JR's old ass shows a certain level of respect to the younger guys. You know what I'm saying? Just out of doing that. But if we do see one of these guys up here, I think, for example, like my man who had 18 kids and 14 baby mamas. Yeah, we got a little disrespectful there, man, because it was warranted, right? He come with this nonsense ass bullshit ass story. This man deserved to get a little lack of courtesy and well, I don't think nobody really disrespected him. I don't think so. That he may feel like he was being disrespected because we was giving him a hard time. But I can't say we wasn't as courteous as we probably could have been. Because he was on some fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my definition of that, JR. But Diamond, go ahead and continue to put your foot in your mouth, brother. I'm passing the mic over to you.
We made you like your fathers, like the community. If we made it so you had to marry the man that got you pregnant, would you choose more carefully?
That's a loaded question. Say that question again.
I feel like I choose carefully regardless, but I feel like more women would choose carefully.
If you chose carefully, what is the fruit from your what fruit do you bear to prove that?
It's funny. Wait, I
Oh
want to
my
unpack
God.
this. Wait, I want to unpack this.
Y'all niggas is rude.
This is actually
he know my baby daddy passed. That should be lame as fuck.
No. So I wanna say this real quick. I'm sorry for your loss, though, Di.
Yeah.
But I want to
Cold-blooded.
And that's what I was about to call out.
No need. We already spoke on that.
And I was waiting. I watched that episode while I was working to see if you would even consume what you did to that girl and make a space where that you could apologize to her, because that was low level shit that you did.
Actually, Sweeney was the first one that I think. Well, he the only one that called. But
We're talking about you. Do not bring anybody else.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like
accountability for what you did.
That's what I'm doing. I said we talked about
you
it.
mentioned someone else's name.
I said Sweeney was the first one to call me to let me know that I was out of line, and that's when I had to go look. We had to go look back at the footage, and then when we got in the back chat, I actually formally apologized to her for it.
Okay, I got you. How did you not know in the moment that you were being disrespectful?
Well, see, with this, here's the thing: you wasn't on the show. If you was on the show,
I didn't have.
You would know. I explained this already.
I've already have to be. I know the things I do. Okay,
so what?
Discussion. We're having a discussion. You could choose that. Something was brought up.
No, Kenny, your internet.
So now, did you know that Di's baby father was deceased?
Yep.
And you still did that shit?
Can you hear me now?
First of all, I talked about this already. I did not know that she was going to bring up her baby father. We already had a conversation about this earlier. Before she did it, and she did it again. She brought up her personal situation, and that's why I was like, oh my God. And I explained to, I think it was Marcus, JR, I think Trev and Sweeney was both there. And I explained that the reason why I did that is because I was shocked that she would still admit that she can't handle it emotionally. She would still bring that her baby father up in the middle of the show anyways. So like, why did
you say she was? You say she was the problem?
Did you know?
Hold on, y'all.
I didn't say she was the problem.
Hold on, because I know we're gonna probably be on this for a long time. Let's get into the main topic, and then if y'all want to talk about it in the back end, then we can, because I know we'll be all day on that. So, what does courtesy and respect look like between men? This topic was brought to us because of what happened with a situation on Love and Marriage, Huntsville. I know Darwin has a little bit more insight. Do you want to just give a brief, just basically like what's going on with all this crap, man?
Well, first of all, do y'all even watch that show? I don't watch it. My wife watches it, so I just happened to catch an episode.
Yeah, okay.
Y'all go with it. The episode stood out to me because it shed light on a conversation I feel like we never had. I don't, and at least to my knowledge, I don't think I've said on this panel or in any podcast or even heard it where guys talk about leaving a woman alone during the divorce process. So I think all of us live long enough where we may have, when we wasn't in our right mind, have slept with a man's wife. I'm not saying I've done it. Slept with a man's girlfriend. Slept with a woman while she was separated on the brink of divorce. Or even slept with a woman who was in a relationship, but we didn't know she was in a relationship. And then when we found out she was in the relationship, we was already grandfathered into the pussy, so we just kept fucking her. I think all of those scenarios, at least maybe one or two of us, if we had some accountability and was transparent with it, we would say, yeah, I've been in this situation before.
Between Trev and Marcus, they cover it for all of us.
Hey, never married, right? Nope, never married. Mrs. Still your girl, yeah, but not the married ones. I left the married ones alone, to my knowledge.
What about you?
Nah, I ain't never hit nobody wife.
So ain't nobody on this panel. Come on, Viz. You blinking like, should I go? Viz, man. Come on, Viz.
Well,
don't be scared to say it.
Well, no, just to keep it a buck. Yeah, when I was younger, I've hit a couple that said that they were separated.
Oh my God!
I think we owe Viz a round of applause for doing that.
For keeping it.
No man on the other man on this panel had a ball to do.
For real.
I like
all
what
right,
you
well,
did.
including yourself.
You took all the
He also added a disclaimer saying she was separated.
Yeah,
probably,
All I could do is go off of what she tell me. So said, hey, if y'all separated, that's what
some of
she
y'all
told
was
me.
fucking some of y'all was fucking women in a happy relationship. So what you got? JR got a video? I can't wait to see this.
Yeah. So like, there's a situation, and as we play the clip, we'll give a little brief overview of what's actually
I see where
going
the
on.
topic going.
Oh, you see where the topic going?
Yeah, I see where it's going. Man, Bruce already talked about it.
Okay, well, if you talked about it already, then yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start running some of this clip, and then we'll get into it. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel.
Who were absent at the first house? Marquez.
You know, I was with the guys, and you know that was one of the topics that came up, the whole Martell situation. And I'm like, dude, first of all, it happened before me. The only issue I ever had and will ever have is the communication between you and I. If something happens or something did happen, you know, you let me know. But I feel like me and him gonna have a conversation about it, because I feel like he kind of played into it and made it seem like it was more, when as a man, if I ain't never been with a woman, I ain't gonna try to make it seem like I have. That's just weird.
Yeah,
That's like my almost lying on you, you know. It's just a man thing. It's like, hey bro, like, that's my woman. I get it, even if it was before me, but you're not gonna try to make my woman look like something she's not. And oh, she got a man, she's still married. Oh, and now she supposedly been to this married man house. It's trying to, that picture is painted as if you like a thought or something.
That.
Like, yeah,
So,
I ain't gonna hear that.
All right, so this guy right here, this is Ken, right, Darwin?
Yeah, that's Ken.
Okay, so Ken and this woman name is Trisha.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ken is with Trisha. Trisha is still married to her husband.
Yeah.
And right now, when he's speaking on basically how her husband is making him look or making her look, and he's taking some exception to it.
Well, look,
So
all the guys
Trisha is separated from her husband right now?
Yeah, she's separated.
Okay, and then so after her separation, Ken met her and then swooped in and started dating her?
Allegedly, that's how it happened, but there's also
But the husband is saying she's still married to me, so I don't care how you slice it, she separated or not, legal or not, she's still my wife. So my wife is a slut because she's fucking with, she got a whole boyfriend, but she also got a whole husband, even though we not rocking right now. Is that the case?
Also, there's additional information about, I think the particular information he was speaking about was a guy named Martell Holt. Martell Holt has already lost his marriage because he cheated on his wife. But he makes jokes about sleeping with other men's or other women that's in the show. And he made a particular, actually, he DM'd Trisha. She's a personal trainer. They come over to his house and work out. The other couples on the show found it weird. Like, why would a personal trainer come to your house to train you instead of the gym? And I think those are the clips that may play earlier, but come to find out, she didn't train them. They ended up watching the movie. But Martell is an asshole. If you watch the show, Martell is an asshole. So he was talking with the brothers. You know, they got the barbershop talk. He said the reason why he didn't smash Trisha is because she wasn't bad enough.
Damn.
And that's what that dude Ken is talking about. Like,
is Martell implying that he could have smashed if he wanted to?
Exactly. If you look at how he phrased it, he had already had approval prior to her coming over there.
So
so we would have
sloppy. He on the sloppy thirds, and he's upset about it. Okay, I'm tracking. All right.
So my thing is,
for somebody who doesn't watch this bullshit show, knows a lot about this bullshit.
I was
well, I will confess that I'm actually in the middle of production. I'm gonna release a video. It's all good. You see how I could just not wear my heart on my sleeve and take all the punches. Somebody else would have been in tears right now, but I'm a soldier. But yeah, anyways, you motherfuckers. Anyways.
Oh man.
Martell, he makes jokes. He made a jokes about another couple saying that kid looked like him. Shit like that. So now everybody thinking he fucked this girl named Destiny on there. You know what I'm saying? He didn't deny it, but I think later on he denied it. But yeah, he's just causing a fuss on there. And it just kind of paints the reason why that's important, because it paints the picture of what character does Trisha have that's in the middle of separation. She's entertaining multiple men. What does that say about her? And the reason why it got brought up as far as courtesy and respect, like, do we, as kings, do we promote men to intervene or interfere with a relationship on the brink of divorce, or we kind of like sit back and wait or some shit like that,
Nah, Bruce, ask that question the same way you asked me earlier, and I think it'll be a lot more clear.
Okay, so how did I ask you? Can you take the mic?
All right. So basically, you were speaking about her. Well, the most I know about it was that she's going through a divorce, and this guy is dealing with her while she's going through a divorce, or they're just legally separated. And basically, Bruiser was asking me, do we as men owe it to a man from the courtesy and respect aspect to allow him the ability to reconcile his marriage without our interference?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because
let it play itself. Let the marriage or divorce run its course before you start to interfere.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because the husband, which is Marquez, he actually abandoned his family. He abandoned the household. Like, he moved and relocated to Atlanta. He just said, "Fuck everybody, I'm out."
Nobody owes him anything.
Yeah, I think another part of that too is it depends. It varies on the level of maturity of that man in that moment, because I'm sure us as full adult males will probably fall back more than likely, but I would assume that. But
because if what he's saying is right, he abandoned. Now he don't deserve that respect though.
He left his wife.
You abandoned your family.
You abandon.
You don't deserve nobody.
Yeah, if you abandon your post.
Not when I heard a word abandoned. Now if he, you know what I'm saying, if he sit there and left, got a separation and, was still in communication. I don't know. When I heard abandoned, I'm thinking ain't no communication, ain't nothing happening. He ain't involved with the situation at all. He's damn near going 0 dark 30. That's what I'm thinking of abandoned. Now I could be wrong. Is he still communicating with this woman?
Is that a different man that abandoned his family, or the one who's been
no?
in
It's
separation?
the same guy. He abandoned his wife and kids, left the house, moved out of the house.
So hold on, that guy
that was legally separated.
Not the guy that's talking. The guy, I don't know if JR got the clips coming up, but the guy, you're gonna hear from him. So maybe you know what I'm saying, he'll play that clip. But his name is Marquez. He is the husband, the current husband. He left it. He walked out. I think they had some issues. I think maybe Marquez was cheating. She got tired of them. They got an argument. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't compromise. He said he needed an outlet to get out of the situation. He packed his bags and moved into a whole different other house.
Hey, so Hink, in that situation, would the time frame matter?
Well, I'm about to play. I'm gonna let Hink respond, and then I'm gonna go ahead and play the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard the word abandoned, I mean, this is the word that Don was using. I don't know if that's what the word was thrown around during that show, but when I hear the word abandon, yeah, you don't deserve no respect. If you abandon your kids, right, and you abandon that woman, you just got up and left with no reasons at all, just left. Yeah, I wouldn't feel bad about the situation. Now, we know some states have different laws about divorce. I know in Kentucky, part of when I went through my divorce, you know, we had to be separated for a certain amount of time, and that's a 6 month period. And we also had to go to some type of classes. You know, saying my son had to go through therapy in the midst of doing our divorce. That was Kentucky's law. So I don't know if they in whatever state they're in, if they have a time period that they have to be separated before the divorce is final. I don't know. I know in my state, it has to at least be 6 months before the divorce is, before you can make the divorce final. So, I mean, I don't know. Now, to me, I think, you know, as a woman going through that, you probably should give yourself some time, you know, after or going through this. But, you know, some women just don't want to waste no time because maybe they came up on something good that they feel worth not putting it off. Because if you feel like they put it off too long, another woman's going to hustle them. I don't know, but go ahead, JR.
All right, here we go.
Gotta keep you cool though. You know I'm with you. I just want to make sure that we can actually communicate and there's no heat.
I think
like,
too.
Makes sense.
I should have known who was around my daughter.
First of all,
hold on.
you never even came by. You never even.
Bro, I came to the house. You said a man never leaves his family, and I'm gonna make sure a man is inside the house. For one, I didn't leave. I got a house around the corner. I was traveling.
You was traveling, but your dad did everything for you.
I didn't leave my children. No.
Technically, you did. Your dad was there.
So you're basically saying that I was an absentee father from the time I had to remove myself from the situation.
No, you removed yourself before he came along. You removed yourself at the first house.
He's been there.
No,
So,
that's not. Wait a second. Hold on a second. No, because he's not. Wait a second. Okay. No, wait a second. Wait a second. You were absent at the first house, Marquez.
You saying that I'm absentee? I'm absentee maybe because I'm not even absentee.
Yeah, man, that is. Oh, what the hell? What?
Let me throw this out here real quick, based on what I was going, because I had a feeling that was going to see. Context matters. In my personal opinion, men should fall back on a woman that is married. Period. That's the sentence. Without speaking to the previous husband, man to man, in advance, men should not move forward with any woman who is still married. That's my personal opinion. Agreed. Because typically all you have is one side of the story. And if your dick is speaking for you, or if your dick is listening, you're going to hear what you want to hear so you can fuck. You know, abandoned is a term that she is probably going to create. I had that was in my mind before we played that video. I was like, I bet, but the women gonna make that abandoned term. Ain't no man, even if he did do it, he ain't gonna say he abandoned. So the term is gonna come up from her side of the camp. Mm-hmm. But when you hear the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, you start to say, you know, like for instance, he just spoke on when he got his divorce, the state of where Hink is living, the courts, the law said you got to go to your own corner. But I bet if Hink's woman was a woman scorned and she went to a little, you know, happy hour or something, she could say, yeah, my husband abandoned. His name is Hink. He abandoned me and the kids. All the while, the court said that Hink got to go over here and that she got to go over there and the kids can go with her. And that's what the judge said. But she's in the bar at 5 p.m. after work, sipping on a martini, telling the man that Hink abandoned her, especially if she's a woman scorned. In this video, she said technically, and he's like, what are you talking? I moved around the corner. Oh, but your father did everything. You know, what do you, I didn't. And so suddenly you start hearing more and more. Now, he could just be lying. She could be lying. But the fact that you want some pussy, you're going to naturally side with her. My advice is men should fall back if she's still married. That way you avoid all the technicalities that she's throwing out there. Technically, I heard her say, you avoid all the misunderstandings. Listen, finalize that paperwork, then come talk to me. Because I don't want to hear your side of the story, which could be a lie, or his side of the story, which could be a lie. Both of y'all, Farley, I know you guys are going to get back together. And we were talking about that low-level threat of violence earlier. Somebody might die. And I have a big issue when it comes to women separating or getting men to feud against each other. One man in jail for life and another man dead, and she lives on to go fuck a third dude another day. All because these two dudes got into it over this woman, and it's because of her mouth or her version or her technicalities and technically this, and her abandoned this to one, and the dude stepped in and did some shit that he had no business doing. You can avoid that if you fall back and don't fuck with a married woman until she's not married no more.
All right, let me play a little bit more clip and then
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Did this dude cheat? This dude cheated, right?
Per the episodes prior, he was committing infidelity.
So if he was committing infidelities, how do we even get to a narrative of about her? Like, I don't even know how we get to that part. Like, I'm like,
she got a boyfriend, because that was her boyfriend. That's her new boyfriend sitting next to her that she's fucking while she's still married to Marquez that just walked into the restaurant.
Okay, I guess.
And Marquez is like, you was here before that. He's basically saying, why are you even with this dude before we even finish what we got going on? That's why the narrative is on her. She got both of those dudes in that restaurant has fucked her. Basically.
Additionally, the narrative is on her because the reason why we started earlier with the other footage with Martell is to try to shed light on her history of deception. A lot of those clips that were played before was supposed to shed light on the fact that she would be deceptive about how she was engaging with men. So whenever Marquez is saying you was with him before, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that maybe she was, given her history of deception. Because she told all the girls that she went to go train Martell. Come to find out, Martell exposed, not her. Martell said that, no, we watched the motherfucking movie and I ain't fuck her because she wasn't bad enough. She didn't say that.
At her house.
Well, no, it was at Martell's house.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and play some of that. I just, because you guys are asking questions, so let me go back a little.
Yeah, that's important.
Because I'm thinking judging her after he cheated is it's an
about that as well.
Hot twist.
And Martell was like, yeah, I mean, she came over, whatever. We ain't do nothing.
That's what she said.
He said she wasn't bad enough for me. I'm like, so you invite her to the house and then she's not good enough, though? Come on, Martell. You believe nothing happened?
I don't know. What's nothing? People can do a lot of something.
Mm-hmm. And it still be nothing.
And still call it nothing. So it depends what nothing is, Is it something that you would do in front of your significant other?
Yeah, that's the bar.
That you wouldn't necessarily do under normal circumstances? That could be considered something.
God, I hate that fucking word.
Play the other clip, JR. Go ahead and play the other one.
She'll give you a hand job and say she didn't do nothing.
It depends, because something can be nothing. But
I think what makes Trisha's position difficult with Martell is just that they weren't straightforward about it from the beginning. So it makes it look a lot worse than what they say it is. It makes it look like it's exactly what they're saying it's not.
And Martell's version of events, the timeline didn't seem to add up. Ken and Trisha's timeline, of course, didn't add up. All of these relationships have to overlap with the husband because she's never been divorced. She's still married. Work with me, all right? Ken, Megatron, Superman, right? Super great guy. Everything.
If you guys haven't, make sure you hit that like button and also make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
Thing that she was missing. The husband, this guy abandons her, right? Leaves her to fend for herself when the whole world, right, comes crumbling down and the only people that you have next to you are the people that care about you. And you wouldn't run away from the husband at the first given moment.
Should JR go ahead and skip to that other couple?
At this point, I actually am lost.
I bet he fucked her. I think that light skinned dude, bald head dude, fucked.
Dolan, you could tell the truth that you watched the whole thing.
Right, man, Bruiser, man. What the hell happened earlier in the show, man? This sounds like this just happened in one show. What happened early in the season?
You watched the whole series.
I didn't watch the earlier series, bro. Only thing I know from the earlier series is the statement Martell made in front of. I think he made the statement in front of Ken and the guys that I ain't hit her
You
because
got
she
a
wasn't.
lot of information for just one show.
Okay,
right, Darwin, but you said skip to which part, Darwin?
Skip to the next couple that spoke on it.
Okay.
There's the other couple.
Let me know when to stop.
I'll start from the beginning with them. Yeah, right there.
Right here? Right there? Or before here?
Yeah, just right before it's touch on them. Just go ahead and start it.
All right.
Trish got handed to her a little bit on the trip. Somehow Martell told Stormy that Trish came to his house, and Trish was like, no, but then she turned around and she was like, well, I did go to his house because I was going to train him. And so we was like, what now? But then she got mad, and she ended up leaving the trip early.
It's funny that you mentioned Trish going over Martell's, because all the guys, we were talking about it, and, well, Trish came over Martell's house.
Right,
He said, I think he said a couple times.
What? A couple of times.
He slid in her DMs, invited her to the crib, she came by, and they ended up watching a movie.
I ain't hear nothing about the movie now.
The story makes no sense. Like somebody needs to teach all of them how to lie. If you're training somebody, you don't come over their house and they don't have a gym. When you asked her to train you, where'd you guys go for training?
The gym.
Okay.
Maybe she's not into me like that. Going on between them two. And Mel came out saying that, you know, Destiny maybe sleeping with Martell. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
She said Destiny maybe sleeping with Martell?
She didn't directly say it, but it was like...
Martell been insinuating that too.
Between Destiny?
Martell makes jokes about that.
What did he say?
He says stuff like Law looks like him and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. I can see where, if Martell constantly make it seem like him and Destiny slept together, I can see why Mel would kind of think that.
See, this is why I don't watch no reality TV, man. I never even made it when I was producing films. And they would try to get me to make reality because the shit was all fucking a mess and scripted and made us look bad.
No.
God damn, Darwin, you know you into this. You done watched every episode.
I'm only invested in this particular story. But look,
I don't know what the
as
fuck
you can
going on
see,
at this point.
as you can see, only when the women reveal information about their homies, that's when the guys will act like they don't know. Like, what? They did say that? And then they'll say, well, yeah. Then they give the other side. So they already know Martell is out there doing his thing. They just waiting on the females to find out first before they talk about it. So they won't be like breaking code and say, oh, you told the girls that? Nah, they already knew. You know what I'm saying?
Darwin, I remember that time you told us you like to pillow talk with your wife. I bet you was doing this same shit. This is how you be looking when you pillow talk with your goddamn wife. Telling her every goddamn.
I came clean and said that was all a joke. I think man,
it was no joke.
No goddamn joke.
It wasn't no joke.
Y'all want me to be? Y'all want to bring the king down so bad? God damn!
No goddamn joke. No, you.
Oh, dog, I think you more of a queen.
Like everything.
I think you more of a queen, dog, than queen.
Oh wow! Look at this dude. Come on, Hank. Don't do that, man.
I got you, dog. It's all in good fun. It's all in good fun.
All right, man. I'm trying to figure out. All right, so I can get a grasp of what the fuck happened in this situation. So he cheated on his wife. They split up. He moved to Atlanta. She stayed wherever the fuck she was. they joined some fucking reality TV show and she started sleeping with 3 or 4 different people?
I think they was already on a reality TV show. Their stories just start developing. Like once
But
he
didn't
left,
move. He didn't move far away. He said he moved around a corner, but he was just traveling.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's crazy. They act like we don't know what Netflix and chill is. Like I ain't never invite no female to the crib and we just watch a movie and don't nothing happen. Like that, especially if this nigga work out, you know what I'm saying? She hot and ready. Her husband abandoned her, you know what I'm saying? She gonna throw it around to whoever take it.
I was waiting on somebody else to say it.
Yeah, just keeping it a buck. She gonna throw that around to whoever take it, especially if they've been together for however long. You know, if he been dogging her, especially if he cheated on her. That's super fuel for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she been waiting to exhale. It really looks like it, especially now she entertaining multiple men. She just out here at this point.
Yeah, but that goes back to what we were saying earlier. You know, especially now at this adult age, to even get involved with something like that, it's not even worth it. Because now you're gonna find yourself in a position, you know, because you could tell just from that conversation when the two guys, the husband and the boyfriend, was sitting there, the husband was intimidated as hell. You know, so just like that, it could escalate over some pussy that, you know what I'm saying, that's being thrown around to everybody. So that it's not even worth it.
Yeah, that's a nasty ass, that's a janky ass situation to be in.
But it ain't just pussy, that's his wife though, bro.
No, he's speaking from the other dude perspective. The dude that came in, not the husband perspective, but the other guy's perspective. He's talking about, you know, getting involved with all that shit, and it's just some pussy.
Well, see, therein lies JR's original question, gentlemen. JR's original question is, should these men even be fucking with her knowing her original situation? Maybe her and Marquez is having a problem or whatever. Should the dude even want her to come over and train her, knowing her situation? Should this new dude be sitting up there at lunch and shit, talking with her and saying, you know, well, this was all before, and wanting to sit man to man. All of a sudden now he want to sit man to man after the fact. Should us men even fuck with another man's wife from a male to male perspective, even if she's being janky, conniving, creeping, lying? If you know her situation, should there be some kind of commonality amongst men where, you know what, that's your chick, I'm not gonna fuck with her, especially whether you know the guy or not? That's the main question.
It definitely should be. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you. I was gonna say, I do believe that real men, I think that's what separates males from men. I think men have ethics, they got morals, and they practice discipline. Your discipline is everything from the way that you handle your temperament to dick discipline. You understand what I'm saying? So to answer that question, for those who are spiritually led, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, right? There are other parables and other religions that speak on desiring something that already belongs to someone. So you want to have the ethics and the morals to desire only things that can be yours. So for those who are trying to be the best versions of themselves, then yes, we should leave those situations alone. Your average savage isn't going to think about anybody else.
Yeah, so there's two types of men who would commit this type of violation, right? The men who just really don't give a damn, like, you know, and you expect that from cats that's like in their 20s and shit like that. Because, like I said, I was out here doing some bullshit. No wives, like I said, don't put that on me. But you know what I mean? I didn't give a damn, and it was whatever. But these appear to be some grown ass men, right? So I believe he's operating on a scarcity mindset, man, because he's investing a lot of time into this woman, somebody's wife right now, and you know, they married still. Like, leave that shit alone. You trying to wife her? I don't care. I mean, it's not even like not a flyby or nothing. He's literally trying to wife it and putting yourself in awkward and potentially dangerous situation, because you don't know, even though you might be a burly ass motherfucker, this guy might have had a blicky on him, and you don't know what's going to go down. That's homeboy wife. You don't know how he's feeling, and all he could think about is getting you out the way, right? Because if he gets desperate and he really, really want her, and it's not final, and he think there's still a chance, then that man might hurt you. So you just got to understand it. Don't put yourselves in that type of situation. As a grown-ass man, we don't expect you to be operating on this level. That's like bottom feeder type shit, and we got to do better than that.
Nah, Trev, I 100% agree with you. Like my rule, like I said earlier down, I never mess with nobody's wife. But like even when it came to like girls from the hood that I'm from, I wouldn't mess with, like, if she bad enough for me to want to mess with her, it's 9 times out of 10 it's somebody that's ready to die or kill behind her. If I could just go downtown and get anything I want instead of having to mess with this small circle of women. And I felt the same way about people's wives or going to somebody else's house. But dude, that's goofy. Like, if you fucking with somebody that's already in a relationship, the only thing you could do is have sex with them. Like, you can't be trying to get in a relationship and go meet up with the man and create plans for your future. Because the way you
Marcus, they're breaking up. They're breaking up, Marcus. They're clearly broke up and they're getting ready to get a divorce, and they breaking up. What about that?
You see the passion she had arguing with him. That's too much going on in that whole scenario. Because the way you get it is the way you lose it. You know what I'm saying? If you got her in the midst of a breakup, in the midst of a marriage, and if you really think about seriously being in a relationship, that's a super red flag. You should not cross or move past. Like,
the way you got her is the way you got her.
But Marcus, you can't even say just have sex with them, because you set yourself up for failure right then and there. You can't do nothing. If you're gonna take that stance, you got to take that stance all the way in. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You can't even have sex with them, because if you do, feelings gonna get caught up. And now you're in a totally different situation. You just need to either leave it alone or fuck it, go on with it. So I guess my man decided. I guess he decided to. Hey, I'm jumping 2 feet in because he's not around. He done moved on, or whatever the case may be. Now I don't know with the situation. Is my man talking about like he was trying to get back with this woman, Darwin? Since you the professor, the all knowing about Alabama, whatever the shit. Goddamn show song. Is he trying to get back with the heifer?
Who?
He ain't gonna say nothing.
I think we about to find out. I think JR knows something. JR finding the clip. We about to find it's a cliffhanger right here.
One, I didn't leave. I got a house around the corner. I was traveling.
You was traveling, but your dad did everything for you.
I didn't leave my children.
Technically, you did. Your dad was there.
So you're basically saying that I was an absentee father from the time I had to remove myself from the situation.
No, you removed yourself before he came along. You removed yourself from the first house.
He's been there.
No, that's not. Wait a second. Hold on a second. No, because he's not. Wait a second. Okay. No, wait a second. Wait a second. You were absent at the first house, Marquez.
You saying that I'm absentee? I'm absentee maybe because I'm not even absentee. I haven't seen them because I've also always get excuses. Zari got dance. If I Zari come stay and she like, nah, I got something going on or something.
Dude, that is a load of.
You got it. You missing the point.
I
don't know this man.
Hold on. So first of all,
do you hug my daughter at night? Do you pray? Hold on. Do you hug my daughter at night, bro? Honestly, do you hug my daughter at night?
Yeah, we definitely show affection.
You do?
Yeah. Her and my daughter are really good friends. They spend the night together. Like
exactly.
Yeah,
okay.
We do.
How do I know that?
But here's the thing.
Why would you know?
Baby,
what you mean? Because he's around my daughter and my son. I cut them umbilical cords, Trish.
I don't care.
What do you mean you don't care? So you tell me you can erase.
Hey, hold on.
You can erase 6 or 7, 10 years.
Yeah, that dude seems like a little.
Just because he does that doesn't mean you don't have to pull up and do the same damn thing. Nobody has stopped you. Nobody has said you can't come and see your kid.
You cannot shut her up.
Never.
That right there. Oh, you don't know what.
I don't think Ken and I have anything to do with Marquez not being a father.
He's trying to get her to shut up, and she just like, nigga, I ain't fuck what you talking about. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. You know, what does Message Michonne say? You ain't gonna tell me. You just got her that shit right there is driving me nuts.
I'm about to say nobody can shut that woman up.
Well, no, the best thing that you can do if we're talking about courtesy and respect is man, let me holler at you, bro. Get up from the table and leave her where she at. because you can't have a conversation at that point. It's just gonna be
gonna
all
follow you.
emotion.
She gonna
She gonna follow
She
you,
gonna
bro.
follow you, Biz.
She ain't. You gonna
No,
look
no,
crazy.
gonna follow you,
for her.
Biz.
She gonna follow
You
you.
gonna say,
everywhere
oh,
you
no,
go.
no, I have to get
what it
this
is.
off.
All
I
that
got to
shit,
get
all
this
that
off.
shit going down, he needs to see that. All that shit needs to play out because he needs to know what he's about to invest in, and what he's about to invest in is a bad decision if he continues to move forward.
No, he already know that though. He already know that though. He already know that.
When you got that gawk,
he may have heard it, but it's a different. It's different when you actually experience it. When you actually experience that bullshit, that's a difference. I can hear it from secondhand, man. Your girl's like this, your girl's like that. It's one thing, but me to actually experience and see it live and direct, that's a different thing. So he needs to see all this. That's why I be talking about, dog. You need to watch how she deals with your friends, her friends. If she gonna disrespect her with her friends and her family, that disrespect's coming your goddamn way. It's only a matter of time. He needs to leave that heifer at the restaurant. On point. Leave her there. Let them two motherfuckers work it out. Y'all can do what you want to. I'm done with you. Y'all can figure that shit out between y'all.
On some real shit though, if however it is that she explains the situation to you, will tell you how it is that she's going to interact once you actually are around when they're face to face. You know, if she explained like, oh, this nigga abandoned us and he woo, then all right, bet I already know that. However, the relationship that she has with her husband, ex, whoever, is gonna be emotional. It's gonna be irate. But if she like, well, we just had some differences, we wasn't seeing eye to eye, it's calm, then okay, I know that interaction more than likely is going to be calm. So just from what we just saw, I can only imagine that she was popping shit off, you know what I'm saying, while she was explaining it to him beforehand. So he already know what he got himself into.
No, I don't think he did, because let me tell you this, Vince. She gonna sugarcoat it to make herself look good. She's not gonna make herself look like the bad guy.
How is she the bad guy?
Because what do you mean?
He cheated, so how is she the bad person?
She's still married. She's still married with kids.
Technically, she's cheating too.
Yeah, she's still married with kids, bro.
Okay, so I guess here's where I see the difference. What she's doing, he has the awareness of, so he gets to make a free will decision. Does that make it better? Hold on, let me land my plane. What he did that behind her back, so he took away her decision, her ability to make a free will decision.
No, bro. No.
How is that statement?
It doesn't make it okay, though, King. It doesn't. Whether I'm doing it in front of you or where I'm doing, but while your back is turned, it's still bad, dog.
And she has kids. Like we gotta. You can't just ignore that part. Well, but they are in her, and they're under her roof. They're in her care. So the fact that she's doing this while married and allowing for some dude to move in, be at the crib, they having sleepovers, like that's some off count shit too, bro.
Hold on,
wait. He would have wound up like that if dude wasn't cheating?
King,
are we removing? We're removing the mathematics from the equation and looking at the at the end of the whole shit.
No, King. All right. So how we're looking at it, right? We're looking at it from the perspective of the person walking into this situation, not necessarily from the husband and wife perspective.
Okay.
We're talking about the man outside of the situation dealing with this.
Yeah, he's a
That's
weirdo.
what we're talking about. When you're talking about it from that perspective, this is a chaotic ass situation to walk into and to participate in. This is why this is why the message is leave married people alone. Whether he cheated first or she cheated second, it doesn't really fucking matter. They're married and they're working through a lot of shit. They dealing with custody issues. They dealing with, you know what I mean? She's telling you that he abandoned his kids and you don't necessarily know. So as a man walking into this situation, we're talking about that man.
Okay.
Why would you? Yeah.
I'm on the same page.
Yeah, we ain't talking like we don't give a flying fuck who cheated first in that situation. That woman's married and you walking into a chaotic ass situation. She arguing with this dude. You sitting over there looking goofy when he asks you, "Hey man, you hug my daughter?" Do you really want to be asked that question at the table? You hitting somebody's mom and you sitting over there talking about something. He asks you, "Hey, yeah, you hugging my daughter?" What? That's some weird shit to walk into.
Yeah, we affectionate. Like what? Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that shit
in real life, we all know that conversation, how that conversation really would have gone.
If that wasn't on TV, bro would have jumped across the table, bro. Yeah, we affectionate. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah,
He wouldn't have jumped nothing.
No, I don't think he would have jumped.
She had big man there for intimidation.
Yeah,
and
dude
she
was
showed that she was willing to enlist the new guy that she was messing with to attack her children's father, her husband. She showed no respect to the guy because we've all seen that situation before. Now she got a gorilla that she's giving her cookie to, and she's going to try to dictate the terms because now she feels she has the power. She's telling him chill out, but really what's really being shown is she could sick him on any moment.
At any moment.
And then the actual husband, you could see it in his face, even if that's scripted or what have you. He not trying to deal with the action if homie get up and get unruly. Even though he was like, "Oh, you got somebody with my daughter? I cut the umbilical cords." All that is for show. Because once that big nigga get up, it's a whole different ball game right there.
That's great. That's wild work. Yeah, that's wild work. Yep.
He stayed 5 minutes away and still wasn't a father when Ken wasn't even in the picture. That's just an excuse, in my opinion, that, oh, well, Ken's around. I don't see myself coming around. I couldn't come around. No, that's
Does she sound like
It's not about y'all two, bro. For me, we got the unresolved issues as two grown men that have never had a conversation, and you living with my children and I don't even know nothing about you. I can say I haven't been here for them because I moved to Atlanta and I've been, you know what I'm saying? No excuse, straight up, but I'm here to fix the like that's why I'm here, straight up. That's the only reason why I even wanted to even be involved and express like my point of view is
shit.
Y'all together now,
that's
right?
Oh, man.
And at the end of the day, the only way for us to get on one page is to, obviously, we addressing it, right? And I'm gonna work on myself, right? And then we gonna work on a relationship as two black men who understand the value of family and relationship.
Damn.
Yeah. Hey, no.
And yes, I need to be a better father and be there for them, right? And I'm going to be there, right? But like I want to be comfortable when I'm there, and I want to feel no animosity. And like I said, it don't take away from. I'm trying to tell you, it don't take away from you and who you are as a person and what you've done for them, right? But seeing him play basketball with my son and my nephew, like, and then like taking him out the country and like giving him a car and like that crazy to me.
What?
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it ride out.
How long has this nigga been
I get it.
around?
I'm around your kids. It took time. I never came into the picture and was like, I'm y'all daddy. No. First of all, I'm the man in the house. So it's automatically natural, and I'm a natural provider. That's what I do. No way am I trying to take your place, because I can't take your place. But at the end of the day, you have to be present.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
You know, when I got with you, it's a package deal. I signed up for you, the kids, and everything else that come with it. And I plan on marrying you, you know, once y'all handle y'all situation. Like, you can't make an excuse. I don't like this or I don't like that. And never in no way should it ever got to the point to where you become absent, bro. When you say you don't know me, we can't get to that point until you ready.
He just signed the shit out of that nigga, bro.
Hold on, let it roll. Let it roll.
So I brought the paper for us to just go ahead and get it, like, honestly, to just get it out the way, because that's the only way we're gonna be mature about this situation. So we just need to get it notarized and signed.
I'm actually shocked that Marquez brought the divorce papers. I can still tell he has little feelings for me in there. But seeing his family happy with Ken could be a little hurtful. And going from high school sweethearts to divorce it's not easy.
Hard to know just who to blame.
I really have to get going.
Had our parts to play.
I'm used to him crying and, pouring out his heart on things, and then just doesn't change.
Keep rolling.
Ready?
All right.
All right, man, we're gonna get up out of here, man.
Bet you never saw the end. I was said, let's be friends. Build my life.
Fuck. Bruce, what the fuck you got us watching, bro?
Hey, this shit
Oh
is
my God!
bro.
Stop it, guy. No,
Yo, Bruiser.
Man.
no.
He's drunk. He's been, and he's definitely crying in the car.
Yo, Bruiser.
Actually,
you going at the goddamn table, King.
that part I saw. That's the part I walked in. Hold on, that's the part that I walked in and I saw, and I actually shed a tear with the brother. And
I know
that's
you
what
did. I know you did.
No, you did.
I cried.
Hey, that nigga sunned this man, bro.
Yeah, that's
Like,
terrible, man.
On live TV, he sunned the shit out of this nigga.
What a
He
position
said,
to be in.
I'm the nigga that's here. I'm the provider. You would, bro.
Absentee father.
But let me ask you this though, Sweeney. Was he wrong? With what he shared with that man, was he wrong?
No, he was not wrong.
No, he wasn't.
He was not wrong.
That's still something that you do.
Like
That's still
the
something
man
you
said
do
he moved to
one-on-one.
Atlanta, so that means he's no longer in Alabama. So technically, this man did damn near abandon. If he's not coming to see his kid to the point I heard in a clip that the kids don't even want to talk to you, they making excuses on not talking to you. That's a shame, man. That's a man. He should have got that. He should have got that shit resolved before he moved to Atlanta. Them divorce papers should have been signed and taken care of before he moved to Atlanta. You don't do your kids like that, man. Regardless of what you go through with you and that mother, you don't do your kids like that, man. To me, that's a weak man. That's just my opinion.
She's gonna get back with that nigga. Next season, she's gonna be back.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Here's the problem. This is what I noticed. This is why I said this bitch right here. When she said, "Yeah, I know he still like me a little bit," and all that's when I knew she playing fucking games. That right there let me know, okay, you're not even serious with the other dude that you with. This nigga walked off with you on his arm and you saying goofy shit like that?
Another
She
reason
didn't want to sign that paper right
even
there.
care what
She
he's
want to
thinking.
sign that shit. She didn't want. He put her on the spot. He doing all that antics and all that crying and all that, but he probably walked away with like. She didn't want to sign that paperwork because that bitch loves.
No,
this kind
she
of
had
thing.
already. She was trying to get him to get through the divorce process, but he kept dodging it.
Then why he didn't bring a piece of paper that she already signed and he needed to sign it himself? She grabbed a pen and signed her name.
He ain't even gonna get it notarized. He got that shit in his pocket still.
Yeah,
man, y'all got to be careful with these women, man. These women will play, and that nigga. You said he wasn't wrong. That's some simping. I don't know, man. The shit that motherfuckers are do for some pussy kills me.
Yeah, that's something that you get up from the table. And
what I'm talking about, he's not wrong with what he said about that man, though. That's what I'm saying. He's not wrong.
Yeah, no, that's
he might have Sunday. He might have Sunday, but what no lies told me.
Hold on, what do you mean? What do you mean, Hank? So what we can't do is say that, hey, look, you shouldn't. We can't tell a man to never. We can't tell a man don't leave your door unlocked. But at the same time, we walking outside of his house with his PS5, his TV,
got all this shit,
microwave in our hand. Like you should have never left your door. Like you
he
can't be the person
He took
doing
the kids out the country and buying cars and never had a conversation until that day. Until this little lunch meeting or whatever this was. That's the first conversation. And the little man said it. We should have had this conversation before.
If he wasn't available, the man said that he wasn't available. No, he wasn't available. If the dude supposedly said he was traveling, he moved to Atlanta. He's not taking phone calls probably because he's hurt, because he found out that this woman got a new man. He sit there and said, I couldn't be around because she got a new man. I couldn't come see my kids. He tried to use this man for an excuse, not come and see your kids. Now, if your father's involved, your father could be the middleman. You can say, hey, take my kids over to my father's house, and I come to my father's house and see my kid. But he making every excuse. I don't like that shit.
Yeah,
As a man, I don't like seeing excuses why you can't see your goddamn kids. That's some bullshit to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say the reason. All right, so we all know that we just heard both sides of this, right? And somewhere in the middle, there got to be some truth. And the way that he spoke to that man,
he never gave a fuck about his opinion. He never wanted to talk to it. The way that he just sunned his ass just now, he don't give a fuck if I talk to that nigga or not. I'm listening to everything that she's saying. I'm taking it for gospel. I don't give a fuck what that
also, but not even just that though. Is what he didn't say in that manner is in that at the same time. Because he was saying like, well, you weren't there. Well, I kind of was. Well, yeah, bro. I ain't supposed to be like, nigga, I've been around. He was around long enough to become a father figure to this man's kids. How long is that? Like he buying your kids cars, their daughters done developed a relationship. He hooping with your son outside. How long of a time went by?
Darwin, give us the history. How long?
Because
you know,
I would say it was I don't know exactly how long, but it was long enough for him to be involved, move into the house, or they move into a different house together, travel outside of the country, all this other, like get passports and all this. You know that stuff takes months.
And he did this with a married woman.
That's
the elephant in the room.
Diabolical.
Shan, we agree with you that he fouled for messing with a married woman. I think the standpoint he coming from, which is why I agree with him, is as a man, there shouldn't be no scenario where you don't know what's going on with your kids unless it's jail or a coma. If your ass alive and your kids is alive, you need to be exhausting all your metrics to get in contact with them on a regular. Yeah, I get he left
around the corner. I mean, I get it. I hear what y'all saying. I don't know because I mean, y'all gonna fuck around, make me go look this show up and see if there's some more context. First of all, is this shit all scripted? Is this shit all fake?
But Shane, then he said he moved to Atlanta. So he went from moving around the corner to moving to Atlanta somehow, some way. So see that's the problem for me, though. When you move to Atlanta, you should have got this shit resolved prior to moving to Atlanta. When you moved around the corner, you should have got the shit resolved. And then if you decide to move out of the state, then do what you got to do. But dog, you did all that and still didn't have some type of relationship with your children to the point a new man is able to come in there. Now they probably calling this some bitch daddy. Oh, that's some bullshit.
You want to know how I know? You want to know how I know he wasn't available? Time to go watch a movie with a trainer.
Wow, bro.
Y'all painted this whole picture about this woman with this new man, and he flying kids and buying cars, and they getting cozy. And
where did this other thing? Where did this trainer don't come from?
People was at the trainer's house watching fucking Netflix. When did that happen?
The Martell happened before her and Ken.
What? When? Years ago, or just 3 months ago?
Potentially.
That's still kind of irrelevant to our point. We don't care, we don't care who she's sleeping with. We specifically talking about his responsibility as a father.
Actually, it is relevant because those stories expose her ability to be deceptive in multiple occasions. So that means that if you look at the situation with Marquez, when Marquez says, no, that's not true, I've been calling him, and she say, no, you ain't, that's bullshit. You have to take it into account that she has a history of deception. She could be deceptive in that situation as well, given her history.
Even for him to say that he got a crib around the corner, he has to have some type of information to know that, okay, well, I know that she still stay around the corner or she's in this area. So let me get something close by so I can try to see my kids or whatever.
No, see, my problem is what the man said and how he responded to the guy. When that dude looked that man in his face and said, bro, you ain't been here because I haven't been able to have a conversation with you That's how, and for me to be able to get this close to your kids and you not know nothing about it, and that dude said nothing, that's where I was like, that's where my light bulb went off. Like, nigga, was you really there? Because if that was me, I'd be like, nigga, I live right around the corner from my kids. Nigga, I've called that house every fucking day. I've been around the corner. You had every opportunity to come shoot the shit with me. You ain't did none of that shit. You've been like, but he didn't say none of that. He just sat there and was like, well, I guess I got to do the right way, man, and hand you these papers, and we got to divorce this thing. And like, he didn't sound like, he didn't convince me that he was there based off of the shit that he said. Like, I heard him go back and forth with the wife, but when that nigga tried to call you out and he tried to son you on camera, that should have been the time for you to drop your nuts and let that nigga know, nigga, you full of shit.
I mean, but we all see that he intimidated.
Why does me as a new man got to come look for the old man? You as the father should come look for me. I wouldn't be the one out there doing the searching. He should have to come to me. If I got a problem with the dude, I'm coming. If I got a problem, I'm coming to Shannon. I'm not waiting for Shannon to come to me if I got a problem with this motherfucker. What the fuck did I look like? Now he's a scary motherfucker. We all know
that ain't even what I'm saying. I'm not even saying it.
That's why he won't come look for him, because he's afraid the man gonna lay hands on his goddamn ass. That's why he won't come look for him. No, he shouldn't have to come look for me. I need to go look for him. If I got a problem with this man being around my kids, my daughter, and my son, I'm going to search this dude out. He don't have to come look for me. I'm going to him.
All that proves is that he wasn't around. I'm not even saying that the dude should. Let me explain. The reason why I say that is because based off of what Hink said, the dark skinned nigga don't have to do shit with the light skinned bald nigga. However, the light skinned nigga didn't want to go and find that nigga because he knew he might get his ass beat dealing with coming around. So he just stuck. He was like, you know, I'm just gonna keep my distance from that situation. I'll go make some new kids. That's what it's.
Homie like he make new kids. He like that nigga Debo. He like, nigga, what bite? What bite?
Alabama got stand your ground laws.
Yeah, they got stand your ground laws.
No, it ain't even that ain't even the case. Nigga, you come on somebody's property, you get your ass shot.
Nigga,
no. You got more footage. I need to know.
Yeah, no. Some states you gotta.
Son, you hooked now too.
Ain't nowhere here.
That's why Alabama. Y'all come in my yard on my acre, and I take it off my land.
Wait. What was that? That old Chicago running back Jones? What's his name?
Thomas Jones.
That's who he looked like.
Oh, he don't look
might be. I don't know.
He looked like a little bigger version of him, though. He looked like a bigger version of
Jones. But nah, man, that nigga came in and deboed his family, bro. He was like, man, I'm just gonna keep my distance from this shit, bro.
And you know he had no respect. He didn't even shake his hand when he left.
Bro, this nigga was eating. Did you see the way he was eating his food in front of this nigga, bro? He was
lucky he ain't take that fork and go.
Nigga, take a sip of the drink.
Lucky he ain't take that fork and go on his plate. Like,
nigga, give me your food, nigga. Like, he sunned this nigga on camera.
Y'all ain't supposed to be doing this. Come on, King. He told his lady, let's get out of here because I don't want to see a grown man cry.
Walked out with his ex-wife on Debo status. Like, we getting out of here. And left that nigga at the table crying. Nigga, come on.
All right, hold on, fellas. Come on, I can't let y'all do this. We talking about a man who lost his wife. Come on, fellas.
Well, no, he put himself in that position, bro.
Did he lose her? He let her go.
He left her. He didn't lose her. He left her.
Hang on a second, though. I understand. Yes, I'm gonna hold him accountable. He should have never walked out on his family. But if we gonna promote month in and month out, go back to your baby father, go back to your husband, go back to your wife, fix your relationship. We gotta kind of look at it from that lens. Like, I think me and Sweeney talked about it.
That statement that we only preach that to the women that complain about ain't no good men. This chick right here obviously got another one.
But I thought we also preach it to people so that they don't break up their families.
No, that's typically for the women that is out there trying to level up. That's falling into hypergamy and is trying to date outside of it.
But you got, what have I told you what have I told you on all the according to statistics, on all separations, you got a 13% chance.
I would agree with you
to come back out of separation and reconcile. He wasn't even given that. Her connection with Ken eliminated any possibility of him having that little slim chance to be able to get his wife back.
Nigga, I agree with you, bro. But she must have got some amazing pussy. She got that pussy like sunshine.
That shit got to be amazing.
Hey,
but there was a
the trainer didn't fuck because he said she wasn't good enough. So I don't know.
No, he definitely cracked. Come on now, he definitely cracked.
Hey, you want to know how we know? You want to know how we know he cracked, bro? Because hey, Bruiser, did she ever say anything about this nigga saying that shit about her?
She only said something to the girls. Well, they exposed her and she left the trip early. Remember? They said, "Hey, look, we heard you didn't train him. You actually watched the movie," and she got mad.
She never really spoke on her. Only the trainer spoke.
I'm talking about after she found out this nigga said, "I ain't fucking because she was because she don't look good enough."
When he gave the look, he said, she said she was over there one time. The girl said, "Nah, she was over there multiple times."
Right, they was watching the series.
He knocked the cobwebs out that thing.
Yeah, come on, man. That motherfucker hot. She ready.
I think if you just look at once y'all figure out who actual Martell Holt, and this is no shade at Martell Holt. Once you look at his
first and last name.
No, I'm just saying. I watch. Sometimes I see Queen Sheba go over him. She had an interview with him a year ago. But if you look at him, because Martell, he lost his wife, family already, and he cheated. He cheated on his wife multiple times, and I think he had a child on her or some shit like that. And he got a divorce. But all of the guys on the show be cheating on their wives and shit. So I think Martell is kind of angry that damn, I'm the only one lost my motherfucking family when the whole team been cheating. So it's like, damn. So it's like.
So he's just gonna crash out.
So now he's saying he's telling another man's wife that her kid looked like him and shit. Like he out.
He on demon time.
Like fuck it, I'm hitting everything. I'm getting come to the house, all that stuff. So it kind of make you feel like he don't got nothing to lose no more. You know what I'm saying? If any of those women on the show bite the apple, they gonna end up in Martell's dungeon.
Wait. So they whole married. All right. So the whole entire time that this chick was with this Marcus nigga, ain't that his name? His name was Marcus, right? Marquez. Was this all on the show?
Yeah.
Like their whole relationship was on the show?
Yeah, all of this was on the show.
All right.
All of the developing story from the time Marquez started cheating, from the time
one season.
That happening. All this shit happened in a year.
Hey, hold on.
No, you guys don't shoot it over a year.
Yeah, but you guys got to understand too is that I understand that the producers do put things together, but some of that shit does organically happen. I mean, just imagine you being at work and you go to the same job every fucking day. I hate to say it, man, but some people start looking. Now, when you separate yourself and you look back, you be like, I couldn't believe I thought that motherfucker was cute. I couldn't believe I was even looking at that, but
that work life.
On a lot of these reality TV show sets, you are encouraged to consume large amounts of alcohol, right? They don't necessarily make sure that you eat some food, you know what I'm saying, that you hydrate with some water or whatever, right? They're going to put you in random situations to see if they can tempt you to make bad decisions.
But to JR's point, though, to JR's point, the episode prior to that, when Marquez and Trisha was going through issues with infidelity, initially.
How do you know about the episode before that?
Because this is what my wife told me.
Oh, okay.
She said that there was a case where she was working out. She was working out at the same gym. She was working out at the same gym as Kim. This before her and Kim became a thing. But I think Marquez said he was in her DMs, and Ken was liking her photos on Instagram, and she would make comments, like slip little comments like, "Oh, I like chocolate," and Marquez would be like, "Oh, you talking about that nigga Ken from the gym?" But then later on, now this nigga in your house and your family during your separation. So it's like ironic that the nigga you suspected was already trying to flirt, you know what I'm saying, on social media and in the gym. Now this nigga in your house with your kids. So it kind of makes you feel
that's why he said he was here from before. That's why he said that.
That's where that statement come from. You was already here.
So Darwin, your wife takes minutes and able to regurgitate all of that, and you're able to grasp that.
He watched that show, bro. He know he watched it.
I just told y'all I'm in the middle of. Okay, look, let me paint this picture for you. The clip that JR was playing, that was the clip that I have on my timeline and my editing software. The reason why it has pause, because that refers back to me to say, okay, stop showing myself facial reaction and go ahead and start writing to that what just happened, or reading from what I want to say based on what happened. So the reason why I know so much of it in detail is because I'm in the middle of production. You know what I'm saying? On producing a reaction to this for Thursday. I started doing it Monday.
He not questioning you about the pauses and all that and what we just watched. He's talking about, why do you know the episode before this?
Great detail.
Okay. I watched another episode before.
Yeah, thank you. And
All right, hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all.
Just own it that you like the show and you like watching it. Just own it.
If I didn't like y'all motherfuckers, I wouldn't be honest, but I did watch a couple of episodes with my wife. Them times where your wife is like,
there's a couple, and it's about to be the season.
Right.
Watch the whole damn season.
That nigga Darwin said.
So do Sweeney.
He was pillow talking.
Yeah.
Darwin sat down on the couch with a bucket of popcorn. It's like, damn, this shit getting good.
But look, it wasn't even that. I saw the episode where this man lost his wife.
Right.
And it made me tear up. And then I was like, okay, I think I'm invested now. I gotta see how this story started. How did this man lose his wife? Because when you arguing back and forth, like, he was wrong, he cheated, he did this. It start going in my mind like, okay, why did he cheat? Why did she call him? Why did she say he was abandoned? And who is this incredible Hulk nigga in here intimidating this motherfucker? Like, you literally, his presence is preventing Marquez from behaving the way a typical nigga would. Like, if this nigga was the same weight class, the furniture would have been moving. But because of this
incredible Hulk,
what the fuck?
What the fuck happened there?
I saw that clip.
Some wild
social media bang.
I had fun. I would have. This is one of the clip. I would have been in post production with this motherfucker.
Yeah, this is why I say what I say, man.
Yeah, people don't know they.
Every week. This is why I be on it. This is why I sound like an asshole and sound misogynistic and mean about.
This is why I don't use my delivery.
A whole nother show. This is a whole nother show.
Yeah, this is something different.
What the crazy part to me was? You smashing this nigga wife, and then you gonna tell this man. You gonna tell this man, no, we need to be on TV to support her.
With his chest out. With his chest out.
Shut your stupid ass up and get out my face.
Did you hear the woman say he's a part of our
gonna say now? Now, Hank, what you gonna say now, Hank? Goddamn it.
No, I mean, that's all the way bad. That's all the way bad. She cheated on that man with this dude right after they got married. That's all the way bad, dog. What do I want to say?
She conceived with this man.
She don't want to sound like
I ain't even want to answer the question. She dead wrong.
She's trying to shush him like, yo, you can't.
No. This dude just say that not only did his first child with her was the second.
This nigga claimed his
hold on, the Jeremiah,
the kids is my kids.
Oh my God, that's
he
why
he said, I think your kid is my kid.
He said, this is the first time I'm hearing this first. I think the first statement was, this was the first time I'm hearing that she aborted my first child.
Man,
she was double dipping. She didn't know who it was about to be. She wanted to cover that up.
Over this. It's not enough good women out there that we got to fight over these motherfucking women.
And you know what's the ill thing? He could black out right there and get away with that crime.
Yeah.
What they call it? Crime of passion.
Crime of passion. Yeah,
This is
a lot of people been getting deleted.
I think it depends on what state you in.
Good women out here that's single. This is what we fighting over. I'm here to support my woman.
Well, no,
Nigga, did you say that in my kitchen?
I don't know, because like I get concerned of like.
And these shows are detrimental, man. I don't think we really pay attention to how detrimental this.
That's why I didn't do them.
You know how many millions of women are on that woman's side?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
that look like me and you. That look like our skin complexion.
That's the scary part about it, because this show validates it, and then you have the guy that's validating it as well to strengthen.
Then we got to come back here on Thursday and reprogram.
He giving her the rock hard dick that her husband couldn't give her, so he's stepping up.
Yeah, even the fact that she was cheating on him because he's sick, or even while he's sick, like that's some cold-blooded shit.
Plus, you got to understand how they do this, right? It's extremely easy to push a narrative, like just between the timing, the edit cuts, how they infuse different musics that will give you different moods. They could easily antagonize that, man, and that's what they do in most of these damn shows, man. They really want to be just terrible to men, and that's a horrible thing, because you could tell just if you pay attention to the cues, the music, like when it comes to scoring something, that is going to have a great deal of how it influences the watcher, and a lot of people don't understand that part. And the way that they cut that is bad. It is very bad. You could tell, like anybody who's a man who really lived that or ever been through a situation like that, you could kind of tell what the situation was like and how it was. But the way they did that, and then they playing that music to make him sound like he's some type of villain and shit as he's talking, that's crazy. And that narrative is going to make all these females think that this bullshit that she's doing is right. And she didn't even let the dude speak. The dude is trying to say, did you have the information? She's like, wait. She don't want to talk about it. She don't want to talk about it at all, because she know that there was some double dipping going on. She was messing with both of them all the time. Probably didn't know who the father was, and was like, ooh, I better play and see this shit.
Hold on, y'all. Apparently he gave her permission because he has erectile dysfunction.
What?
No, he didn't. That's his whole argument. He didn't give her permission.
No, it said that he told the Shade Room that he was like, he know there's gonna come a time where he won't be able to satisfy her. Then upon having prostate surgery, that he was like, he said, go and find what you need with somebody else.
After the divorce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
After the divorce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why
would he be so pissed about it? She had affairs. That don't sound like permission. There ain't no such thing as permission and affair. You can't have them both.
Okay. So when he said that was after they had already divorced.
Well, no, that his suggestion was, you know what? I'll grant you I can't fuck you like you want me to fuck you. No problem. We can separate and go our separate ways. You can do what you want after we divorce. That's the context of it. She just said, "Oh, well, fuck it. I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna start tomorrow."
Well, I'm sorry. I give her permission after divorce. That don't make sense. Why do you need to give her permission?
I think it was during the marriage. I think it was during the marriage that he said that I can't, please you. I can't do what I'm supposed to do for you sexually. You can go and get it elsewhere, but just be respectful about it. I think that's what the line was. And she went to go let niggas hit wrong.
She kept lying.
What episode was that?
Well, this is what he said on to TMZ when he went on. He had called TMZ, or TMZ called him to interview him. And
it's different than the Shade Room one.
I'm guessing it's still the Shade Room one. I don't know. I'm just going off of. I just read this article about it because somebody in the chat said that he was that he had ED. So I was like, well, let me go and look this shit up.
I don't care.
So he authorized her to go get some dick. Be respectful. Don't it can't be public. It can't be, you know, if you just need to go get some, like, you know, slide up into a fucking a massage parlor and get fucked. Come on, nobody know about it, then fine. The whole relationship part was do that after we break up. She decided to go get the dick and then get in a whole relationship. Now this nigga's in his kitchen talking about, I'm here to support my woman. So while he was saying, I can't fuck you right, if you need to get fucked, go to Vegas. But if you want to go get into a relationship, wait until we break up. She said, I'm gonna go to Vegas and I'm gonna fall in love with the Vegas nigga and I'm gonna make it public. In fact, to the point where the Vegas nigga is saying, your kids is even my kids. I think they look like
that's a violation. That's a
You've
violation.
been fucking her for a while. So it's just
That shit is
That's
wild,
a violation. That's a violation, man.
Shannon ain't
Listen, I don't want to laugh at this matter, bro. I don't want to laugh at this, but
that's a violation.
I think we got to shed light on the fact that the whole conversation we had in the beginning has to kind of be revisited, because we can sit here and talk about what courtesy and respect look like between men, but I think we can go on the record, and I think it's safe to say that the vagina is powerful enough to literally dismantle courtesy and respect between men.
A certain type of man.
Not necessarily true. Now, a bottom feeder type dude, you might be right, Darwin. But a solid dude, they not gonna go for that bullshit. Look, the
So
shit's a dime.
that means that every scenario where there's a woman on the brink of becoming a baby mom, having multiple baby fathers, every man is not a solid dude in this situation, or that's in interference.
We can accept that, dog. That we know
Okay,
every dude ain't solid.
I'm
We
just
know
making
every
sure.
dude ain't solid.
I'm just making sure on the
that's
record. So when we hear a man push back and say, "Oh man, I'm a solid dude," but the nigga left. So what the fuck? So we can press him and say, "Look, no, you're not. You're not a solid dude. You should have waited till the affairs is they got that shit in order. She was completely free of the relationship or the marriage for you to go ahead and move into her house and be around her kids." I just want to make sure it's clear to the audience. So as men, we can try to establish some type of boundary or some type of standard or expectation on how to move. So like, fellas, don't do this shit, bro. It don't matter if you know the nigga or not. Just have some courtesy and respect for the man that's dealing with a situation with his wife or his baby mama. Wait till the shit is clear and then go ahead and activate yourself. But until that shit ain't clear, bro, you breaking code. And I would argue, I think somebody made a comment. Some of these scenarios, niggas is ready to shoot a nigga over or take unalive a dude over. I don't know if y'all have stories behind that or experiences.
I got one. So I had a tenant on like Austin in the Austin area, right? The baby mom it actually happened around Thanksgiving like 4 years ago. The baby mom was in there, got to arguing with the baby father. The boyfriend came on the back porch and he was trying to tell him, like, chill, this is my chick. You're not gonna be showing out like this in front of the house. He up and shoot him in the head and then finish him and shoot him 3 times in the body. It took us a long ass time to get that blood up out the back porch too.
What? See, here's my thing, man. Like, what I'm seeing, what I'm also seeing is a woman. This is a prime case on how women can become a single mother with multiple baby fathers. This is how it plays out. 2 men involved at crossing intersection at some point between her I think they call it monkey branching, I guess. Her transition from one man to the next is so instant. That's how you get these kids that's 1 year apart or some shit from 2 different men or some shit. And what I'm seeing is when the statement that lady made in the previous show, she said, it don't matter if it's another man here. You still can come around here and do your part. That is a woman elevating herself above men and making men bend to her or orbit around her pleasure and what she want to need. So now she got a husband that bends to her and serves her. And then now she got another man that's coming in as a lover and making a case that both of y'all motherfuckers are gonna bend to me and do what I want for what's best for me and my kids, because those are your kids, and because you're my boyfriend and we're a package deal. So because we're a package deal, you owe my kids travel, cars, all that shit. And because you're my husband, soon to be ex, but their father, you owe the same thing. So she's getting gimme from both niggas at the same time. And that's a way a woman is elevating herself to a supreme position over man. She just made a matriarch.
Don, you giving these heifers way too much credit. That just shows them some weak men. Them some weak-minded men who allow that shit to happen. I say it all the time. Should no woman move you like that? They shouldn't. But guess what? When you weak-minded, they'll move you like a pawn, and that's the problem.
What you making my case? It takes for these men to be weak, for this woman to be successful. And we're not just talking about Trisha. We're talking about every single woman that's in this situation, or she's in the middle of a divorce, or she's moving from one relationship to the next, and she's already thinking about, or already, like you heard this man. He said, I'm going to make you my wife, and we're going to have a family of our own. She's already sold on being a vessel of another man's seed, and she's not even out of her first marriage. This, as men, we're fighting a losing battle. We have a group of men that's pushing. Look, don't reward poor choices. Don't reward bad behavior. These single mothers are for this or whatever. Send them back to their man, send them back to their husband. But then we got a whole nother plethora of men. We can call them weak men. That's sitting on the other side saying, fuck that, I'm coming to get that pussy. And I don't give a damn about no standards, no principles, no covenant, no whatever God intended marriage to be. I don't give a fuck. I want that ass. So I don't think there's enough of us on this side of the field. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's almost it's exhausting, bro.
Then you also got to think about how he has think about how much of a choice he doesn't really have in this situation. Just looking straight up at the husband, because I heard Hank when he said this is a weak man. He could technically say, fuck her. Fuck you then. I'm not moving that way. You want to move that nigga in, fuck you and them kids. But we just said on this panel, he wouldn't be shit if he didn't take care of his kids. So that automatically puts him in the orbit of her where he has to deal with her. Because we just told him you cannot not be a father to your kids.
No, you said it wrong, Sweeney. He not deal with her. He has to submit.
It's a catch-22. Whatever Sweeney said is correct.
He's exiting. He's locked in for the rest of his life of submitting and bending to this woman's terms. She already got the court system on her side. She already has the leverage while he's exiting it out. And she got another man coming in that's gonna bend to her as well. He made this nigga bend right at the dinner table. And he's not even married. They haven't even gotten into a marriage. And this man already been into her word. I think somebody said it on the pound. He should have just told her to shut up. And I think Viz said pull him to the side or whatever. This is a matriarch that's happening in real time. And these little pockets are happening all over through our community, bro.
Hey, like if I'm not mistaken, can't men go to the courts as well and obtain some rights themselves? Because
that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, can't men go to the court? Because I know some men that they understand the system's not on their side, but there was opportunity for them to be able to get rights, like, to their child.
I think it's subjective based off of the expense, the attorney fees and all that stuff. Because I'm not saying this happens all the time, but I was told when I was listening to lead attorney argue against Ruslan KD, who was another YouTuber, Christian, whatever, rapper or some shit, argue the fact that some of these lawyers are telling these men, bro, don't go in front of that judge. You're gonna fucking lose. You're gonna go ahead and max out $30,000, $60,000, $80,000 a credit card, and you still gonna fucking lose. So we got attorneys telling these men.
Yeah, plus
that's something
it's just about
visitation and custody, two different things.
Okay. Visiting,
because custody is really like 18% of men that actually win who go fight. So it's a lot of men are intimidated by that. It's a great expense to go through the custody battle, and a lot of times men lose. Like they're saying,
because and I'm glad you said that,
men
because
that
I remember
win.
God made a statement last Thursday saying, if you're a real man, prove that you're a real man and a good father, and go and fight for your kids in court. Basically, what she's saying that your goodness and your realness determines your ability to win a court case for your kids. When that's not, you can actually go to court and fight for your kids and lose and still be a good father.
But no,
that's true.
I think we're mixing it up though, because the scenario that I just put out, as far as him being around his kids, is a custody agreement. He still has to come around. He still has to deal with this motherfucker. He still, because there still has to be exchanges. There still has to be, you still got to call the house and call your kids. You still got to deal with this nigga being in the house with your children. That's all still going to be there, whether you have a custody agreement or not.
And what do you say, deal with it? What do you mean by deal with it? Because it sounds like you're saying you got to accept it. It ain't like deal with it means that you got an option to remove the nigga or take the kids out of the house.
That's what I mean, though, is that when we're talking about, okay, when she said you still got to be a father to your kids, that's what, like, he still should be able to, he's going to have, even with joint custody and all that, he still has to encounter their relationship every step of the way. He still has to deal with his kids being in the house with another man. He still has to deal with his children being raised by another man. He still has to encounter her being with another man. That doesn't go away. She's still making him be a father, a surrogate supporter of her household and her lifestyle, while also making another man a surrogate supporter of her lifestyle and her household.
You're saying what I'm saying. You're saying she's got two men orbiting around her term.
No, well, that's not necessarily true, though. That's not necessarily true. You look, it depends on how old them kids are. So if you want to eliminate her, you could damn near eliminate her completely. Because if your kids are old enough, they can have their own phone, and you can have our own conversation. You already know the agreement. I don't have to come to the house and get them kids. We can meet at a neutral place in order for the exchange to happen. All of those things can happen.
What do you do? She say, "Oh, she busy," because I think this is a statement she made in the video. Oh, she busy.
What are you talking about? If she has her own phone,
if you calling your daughter, say, "Hey, look, I want to pick you up and take you to dance," and the mother says, "No, she's busy. Ken and them already planned a trip to go out of the country."
Well, then I'm gonna say, well, hold on. Is it on the weekend? Is it on my weekend that I'm supposed to have my daughter? Then y'all are not going to do it, because technically the court order says this is my weekend. Every other weekend, if it falls on my weekend, no, y'all need to make adjustments.
Okay, so you're premising your position based on the fact that the court process is already happened.
Yes,
and y'all
everything's established.
Like they got a court order, yeah.
Yes, everything's established.
I guess my only question is this already by default, or that a man got to literally come out of
it's not by default, but the man has to put the work in order to be able to.
When you say put the work in, does that go back to my statement about what lead attorney said about men literally breaking their banks to fight for the schedule?
Well, I don't think that you have to necessarily break the bank, because if you do the research for the laws, you can represent yourself. I know people that have done the research and represent themselves, and they wind up flipping it because they read the law, like they had an attorney, they fired their attorney, they represented themselves because they understood the law. It was self-explanatory, and they were forcing the wife and her attorney to pay more money. So
is that typical, or is that like an exception?
I think
No.
any man can do it. So I always operate off the spectrum, right? So which side do you want to be on? Do you want to sit there and say, oh, well, the court system is against us, or do you want to do some research and try to give it a shot? The only thing you can do is give it a shot. If you see it's going to be expensive, you don't have to go down that rabbit hole. But at least you attempted and you tried, and you was able to see for yourself. A lot of time we listen to information, and we had that fear because of what everybody else is saying. You know, who's to say that anybody on YouTube, anybody that's credible? The only thing you can do is at least give it a shot, and then that way you know for yourself. I'm one of those people. I don't care what nobody say. I'm at least try. And I'm also and you know, there's a lot of loopholes because you can even prove that she's not fit enough to be able to accommodate. It could be finances. You know, maybe it was a report somewhere. There are things that you can do to be able to fight for your rights. Now, the system is against you, but you at least still got to do the research and see if there are any loopholes and give yourself a shot before you just.
The reality is that you have to still walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, right? So it's you still have to you got to look out for yourself in these situations. When you're talking about as a person, you still have to go and make the attempt. You still have to go and do what you have to do to try to get your kids. But politically, you can walk and chew bubble gum. You can fight for yourself, do all the work, still fight for your kids, while at the same time doing the political work where you can try to get the laws to be more favorable to you at the same time. But you still got to make an attempt as a father if you want to be there.
Yeah. Darwin,
what point does I can't afford this comes into play? Or that's not even the topic.
No, literally, there are men that can't afford it. Where the only because there are certain scenarios where if somebody's adamant on fighting you, I think a lot of most men's success stories come from the fact that the woman was willing, that there was already some form of compromise where he was able to get some form of custody with his kids. Now, there are instances where you're dealing with somebody that's adamant on making you an absentee father. Like she doesn't want you there. She don't care if you're there. And those type of situations can get extremely expensive and can possibly, write a man out of his life. I watched it happen to a friend where, where she. Go ahead, Marcus.
No, I thought you was finished. I thought you was finished your statement. You was done? Go ahead.
But you ain't talk, bro. You ain't talking a while, bro. Go ahead, man.
Well, all I was gonna say was that these are scenarios when we be talking about the warning signs. He might pretend like she just became like this, but it's clear that she been this woman the entire relationship. Dude got a glimpse of it at that table. You really got to be careful when you see these signs in the beginning and state like if somebody's showing you who they are, believe their ass and separate
But that
from.
pussy so good, Marcus. That pussy
don't
good.
matter, bro. Jag off and get a picture of it and jag off. Do anything other than allow yourself to be held hostage by some damn sex. That shit, like the trouble that you would be in behind busting her raw, knowing that she this type of woman, she literally could drag your ass through the coast for the rest of your life with your kids. Niggas who love their kids really be ready to crash out about their damn kids, bro. Like damn it for anything. So why give somebody that power? You 100% got to take responsibility for that and be looking for these signs when you dating these type of women. You have to be like Zoomers on, have a conversation in the beginning portion of the relationship. Like, man, she's like I always say, this women that want to get even with you, that are we gonna go tit for tat? Some people might think that shit cute, but this is what it transpires into. This is a clear sign that this argumentative ass woman, she's gonna be worse when she don't love you and you can't fuck her into submission. It's just gonna get worse from there. The shit is not that hard if you just preemptively do these things. On the back end, it's gonna be hell. I get it, it's fucked up. But if you're not in that situation yet, it shouldn't be no excuse for you having the information on what type of women to avoid and you moving forward because you lonely or you fell in love because the pussy was good. No pussy is that good. No love. You shouldn't. If you got two women, one you love who crazy and one you don't love, but she responsible and she ain't gonna put you through this, you go with the one you don't love. You don't put yourself in that situation under no circumstances.
Because I can tell you right now, that woman in the video that Bruiser was presenting to us, the way she was talking to both of those men at that table, you can tell she's been a problem from the beginning. You can tell their marriage being on the rocks didn't happen in a fucking vacuum. He's been a problem. And the fact that this big black motherfucker, big buff ass nigga is not seeing, bro, this is in my future. Ain't no way you can sit there and hear this woman sit here and tell you, no, let me talk my shit. And you just be sitting there like, I'm gonna let you talk.
Just shut up. You
like, bro, do you not see what's in your future?
It got to be.
He probably thought he could tame her. He thought he could tame her.
I think the pussy is. I think I'm with Shannon. I think the pussy is overwhelming, bro. To
Ain't no
these
way
men,
another motherfucker told her that shit was whack.
Bro, yeah.
And
no,
again,
he said she wasn't. He didn't say it was whack. He said she wasn't bad enough to hit. So that's different. But I don't
again, in that sense, it's a lot of weak-minded men falling for the okie.
That's true. But I think some of these women got like a special set of skills. They understand how to manipulate and really run a situation. And these are dangerous women that you have to avoid at any cost. And men like that, but she knows what type of men to prey on, right? She's not going to deal with most of the cats that's up here tonight because we're not susceptible to that type shit. But people who are manipulators, people who are predators, this is a predator in my opinion, they know how to seek their prey. Wow. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that. She understands she's going to be calculated and she knows who to select. Like, even though that dude burly as hell, he a pussy, real shit. Like, when it come to women, you saw how she was able to just cut homeboy off and he stopped. She shut his ass down. That is not going to happen to a man that know how to handle women. But he was possibly overwhelmed by the snatch. That could have been a situation or whatever. But she just know how to be around them. Like these people, these women know how to do. They know where to touch you, to arouse you, all kind of shit. They know how to get you. They know all the sweet spots. They know how to talk to you. They know how to reel you in. And they'll fool your ass, man. And they'll get you addicted to certain things, attached to certain things, and you don't know how to deal with that. And they assume control that way.
We would have had a whole new argument right there. It was like, okay, we come back to this. We got to redirect.
We fighting. Who the hell you telling to be quiet? Sit your ass down somewhere. I'm talking to him. What is you doing?
So as much as we people want to preach that men should not have sex with a lot of women and do it. One of the benefits of dealing with a lot of women is you devalue the way you look at sex. It's not going to be to the same extent of somebody who they first or second woman they had sex with and they fell in love. I know it has a back end that could be negative for some people, but I can walk away from sex at any time based off of me not putting the same stance in it. Like when I hear men talk about, when you met
based
this woman,
off all that pussy you got in college, you say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just in life in general, shit. But because it was before college, I had that stance coming in 15, 16. You know what I'm saying? But when men say things like all the women you met, if they were all good women, why didn't you keep all those women? And I'm like, I'm sure there was a lot of good women in there, but that wasn't the way my mind was thinking. I was sliding like, okay, this is just sex. This is just sex. This is this. Oh, I like her. Oh, no, I don't like her that much. This is just sex. This is just sex. Okay, I love her. This can be a relationship. Versus the first time you want to throw your whole all in. Like, man, y'all got to understand the way power dynamics work. And you can't just be overly throwing your emotions and love into a woman until you know for sure that she loves you. Because you throw the power dynamic off. If she feel like you love her and she don't like you that much, it won't work, because now she can never look up to you. She always gonna look down at you as the man that's chasing behind her.
Ooh, Marcus sound red pill tonight. He put his red pill hat on. You got your red stuff. Come on over to the dark side. I've been inviting you. You just got to just sign the paperwork.
I'm gonna tell you this,
Marcus, are you making a case that is to the benefit of a man to get as many reps in? So when he do fall for the first time, he don't.
I'll say this, Darwin. Look, the ideal way, right? The best solution possible, which is nearly impossible, right, is for a man and a woman to be their first experience. You would have to vet her and have family vet her carefully. If you were able to run into a really good woman who still got the V card and is able to pair bond to you properly, then you're probably going to be in the best case scenario for longevity, right? Statistically proven. Now, if you so happen to experience bad women and, you know, wherever you are and all you have is access to bad women, then yeah, it is what it is. The more pussy you get, the more discernment you're going to have. That's just a fact. Because you'll be able to recognize them.
It doesn't work the same way for the women, though, right?
No, fuck no. It makes them worse. Their oxytocin receptors become fried. It's impossible to pair bond at that point in time. Those experiences make them bitter, make them their pH balances go crazy, and a whole lot of adverse effects that I could go on for hours about. But no, it does not have the same effect on women, and that's not sexist. That's biology.
Speaking of biology, did you know that when a woman has a baby with a man, his DNA stays within her body forever?
For up to 10 years. Yes.
I heard it was forever.
Where y'all find this shit at?
Not up to 10 years.
There's
actually a word for it. I'm going to bring that up.
Bro, y'all niggas.
No, real shit.
For real.
No.
Wait,
what was the stat?
Oh my God!
What was the stat?
Hold on. Yeah, let's go.
Hold on.
So you telling me I can be getting head to a woman and I could be potentially.
No, once she had your baby, if she get pregnant by you and have your baby, the DNA.
Oh, I thought you was talking about the sperm.
Pregnancy, yeah, pregnancy.
Oh, okay.
With the pregnancy,
after pregnancy, a man's DNA stays in a woman forever. I thought you was just talking about fucking, but if you if you have gotten a woman pregnant, regardless if she got an abortion or not, or she had a miscarriage, you are part of her until she dies.
That's what, yeah, and if you have a kid with that woman after, then that dude's DNA is likely in what you think is your seed. So, yeah, fuck that. That's another reason why you kind of don't want to mix the blood. Even if you want to date a single mother, that's fine. But I wouldn't have children with a woman who's.
And that's probably the reason why the Bible kind of looks on that.
But I was gonna say that I was just gonna speak to that Bruiser, that because I'm not really big on religion.
No, it's true. It's not true for sex.
Who said it was a lie?
No, because that's the difference. So the argument has been
said it was a lie.
No.
She said that the story was a lie.
She thought it was a lie. She looked it up and confirmed it was true.
Yeah. So what happened was people were saying they took the pregnancy part and was just applying it to just sex. So all these bodies you had, you got all them souls in you, and the reality is not just sex. You'd had to have impregnated her for the DNA to remain. That's the reason.
So the soul ties through conception.
Yeah.
Right. Through conception. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so like maybe and she don't have to actually give birth. She just need to conceive, because she could have had like 3-4 abortions.
She don't have. She does not have to have carried through full term. She could have aborted or been a miscarriage. That once the sperm
fertilization, right?
Egg, you're in her forever.
Wow. Yeah.
So now all y'all think about all them women y'all done got pregnant. I know.
No.
I'm not big on religion though, and I often I look at it like this. I always thought that religion was a way that man can explain the world around them, right? And what we just talked about and what we just saw in those two videos, you can kind of get why somebody would probably write in the Bible that you shouldn't deal with somebody's wife. Like even if it was just written by man, off of what we just saw, you can kind of understand that back in the day, they probably saw this shit 3,000 years ago. It was like, yeah, this ain't the smart thing to do.
Because that nigga had a big camel and shit. He had a camel and 3 sheep, and that other nigga. He's like, I want that motherfucker with the camel.
So before you end it, this is what I took away from this. Besides a woman working her way up into education and making her own salary and being equivalent to a man, I mean, I wouldn't say equivalent. She still wouldn't be able to be superior to a man if she earns $1 million, even Belinda Gates. The only way a woman becomes superior to a man is if she become a single mother of multiple baby fathers, and the men literally have to fall in line. they have to fall in line. That the man that's with her, that's creating a family with her, the previous man that had a family, these men are a part of her. And because of the way the society's set up in the government and in the
As
court
long as she
system,
got custody,
this
they have
woman
to
has
fall in line.
custody. She can pull the strings whatever way she wants. At that point, she can be elevated over the men that is a part of her, like what y'all said, the DNA forever.
Yeah, but you using terms like superior. I don't think that necessarily classifies her as superior.
Well, and the reason why I say superior, the reason why I say superior, I'm using it in the sense of I got the keys. You know, I'm driving.
Right. In control.
The very thing that a man holds to his heart more than anything, besides God and his purpose,
is control over himself.
Before himself, I would argue before himself, his children.
Well, I think that also plays a factor in a man wanting to control over his own life. That's the reason why we have such a big issue when it comes to child custody cases and shit, is because you lose control. Is that, man, I can't move how I would like for me to move in this situation. I can't even move my kids the way I want to move them. I don't have you know what I mean, given the way that the court system is set up, that you don't even have the motion to be able to make your own choices a lot of the times. Either the court's making the decision for you, or you have to bend to some degree of her will, as long as she got custody.
That's true. That's what my father was upset.
And I'm gonna stand on that, because the moment any of these men, let's say both of these men, let's say she got 4 baby fathers. The moment any of these men don't show up and do what they're supposed to do, she can report it, and they can go into involuntary servitude. They call it modern day slavery, or they call it prison. You could literally lose your freedom behind this woman. She's pulling the strings. That's why I said at that point she becomes elevated. She has all of the incentives, and she has the legal support.
You know what's crazy though? It's the motherfuckers that decide that they don't want to be and don't care that they wind up respecting. Ain't that a fucking trip? The nigga that says fuck you and those kids is the one that gets the least amount of problems. Even if you think about this situation that she had with this dude, what did she do? She went out and found another nigga. He ain't say, man, you put me on child support and this, that. She went and found another nigga, and this nigga was able to skate off until they wanted to create a reality TV show of their lives and make this shit, sensationalize this shit. But if everything that she said is true, this nigga got off scot-free.
But the nigga who typically says fuck them kids is the one who got a burner on his hip. That's why she don't give him no pushback.
I think the other thing is a lot of times people be double backing with their baby fathers.
You got to be one savage nigga to say fuck your kids. You don't give a fuck about life, period. You will take a lot. That typical nigga is a dangerous nigga.
So dog, what I'm saying is when y'all, so when like in their situation, that shit gonna be rocky until dude move on. Like it'd be like feelings still caught up. Some people won't deal with the child if the baby mama ain't messing with them no more. They take it out on the kid. Like the people who say fuck them kids and don't care about her, in my book, is in the same boat as the people that completely don't want to be with her and she don't want to be with him. And then they could just focus on the kid. I think that the removal of caring about that relationship between them two is the real it factor.
Marcus, what you think gonna happen? You the man that literally sold me on really punching down on the signs and like, look, this is what you're gonna get later on. I don't give a fuck how you push it. All this on your character, on your representativism bullshit. Once you see the signs, that's what you're gonna get. Boom. What do you think is gonna happen when Martell, I'm telling you how crazy this dude is, come out and years later or a season later and be like, you know what? I did fuck her.
What do you think? Big back Billy gonna be sitting over there crying at the table after she.
He gonna stay with her. Look, Darwin, he gonna stay with her. He gonna stay with her.
He gonna stay with her.
He gonna stay with her. He definitely gonna stay with her. The ideology behind men that ignore red flags, he'll fuck around and get mad at the dude that smashed. He'll get mad at the person that told him that she was fucking somebody else. He'll get mad at the fans. He gonna still stay with her. He will stay with her.
Typically because he can't and it's probably the baddest woman he ever had.
Ooh,
damn
oh
shame.
shit! Hey, you cut it off right there, Jr.
Yeah, but
cut it off right there.
And he was rebound anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that motherfucker, bro. The way he sunned that nigga live on TV, bro. How do you let a nigga get away with doing that to you, bro?
Bruh, did you see that nigga size?
Man, hell no. I don't give a damn how big you are, bro. Man,
Right.
you can't let nobody sun you like that on TV. You got to take that ass whooping. You just have to take that ass whooping. You don't
Hold
let
on,
this nigga sun.
Sweetie, so you taking the ass whooping on that one?
Bro, I'm taking you not about to sun me with your words, and I'm just gonna sit there and shut up. Then you gonna have to beat my ass, bro, because I'm not letting you have that, bro. That's crazy.
You gonna take an ass whooping?
Bro, yes, I'm gonna take an ass whooping on camera before I let you sun me with your words. It got me sitting there crying and shit, talking about I just lost my wife, man.
You would have my respect.
Why y'all
squabble
acting
up.
like y'all gonna fight a dude like that fair? You don't fight a dude like that fair. I'm picking some
I'm not
bullshit
fighting
up.
fair.
I would have hit
Straight
that
like
nigga upside his head with that plate. I'd have
This
did
is
So I'm
something,
cheating,
bro.
I'm
You
cheating.
don't just
I'm
early
cheating, bro.
your weight.
this nigga.
Well, not your weight.
I'm hitting him in
sweetie,
his
make my
knees
weight.
with shit, all that, bro.
This nigga
Certain shit
sunned
you know
him
you
on
can't work
camera.
on.
He sunned this nigga on camera. Didn't have to lift up a fork. He
No,
told
man.
this nigga.
Don't Sweeney, don't act like the goose don't be sunning you and Dowd on a regular
I ain't
basis.
never
Man.
been sunned
On
by
camera.
nobody.
What?
Don't
On
do that.
camera. Ain't never been sunned by nobody on camera.
The goose be sunning our asses.
Hey, look,
And I
look,
lost a
Sweetie.
whole lot of
Look, Sweetie, what if I told you? What if I told you they left him with the tab?
That's right, JR.
What if I told you they left him with the tab? What would you say?
Nigga, that's even worse.
Chicago.
He done have to pay for this nigga food. Why this nigga walk off with his ex-wife and shit after he done told you about your stuff?
motherfucker.
There's only one or two things that's true in that situation. He is truly bitch made, or everything that man said about him was absolutely true, and he couldn't say shit about it.
Swing, here's
That would be the only way that shit will work. Is if
You know what I
everything
mean?
he said about you was absolutely true. You couldn't say shit, but be like,
Hey.
damn dog, I ain't shit.
You know
Didn't
what I
they
mean?
say he got her out
First
the strip club? Didn't they say he got her out the strip club?
Oh no.
No, that might be. I'm about
She
to
looked
look
like
like
that's
Shit.
where she came from.
First mistake, if that's the case, damn.
But
I don't even
Sweeney,
want to put. Okay, is that verified? Because I don't even want to put that on unless it's true.
I think we
I
just
seen that in the
That's
chat.
crazy.
But Sweeney, that shirt that he was wearing, you know whose shirt that is? That
What shirt?
Ken had on, right?
Who was Ken? The big
Ken
black
is
nigga or the other one?
the big nigga.
What shirt
You
did
know
he
whose
have on?
shirt? You know whose shirt he had on, right?
He had on that nigga shirt?
Nah, no, you didn't, yo.
He had on
No,
that
he
nigga
didn't.
shirt?
Nah,
he
no way.
didn't.
That shirt, nah.
No way he had on
Nah,
that
'cause
nigga shirt,
that
bro.
dude couldn't possibly wear a shirt that big, bro. No way.
Wearing that
I'm
nigga
fucking with you, bro.
I know he ain't wearing this nigga clothes, bro.